Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Welcome. Sarah should be along within hopefully a half hour. We've got a message here from someone, a live message. I'm gonna see if it's ready for you, and I believe he's here right now. Let me just try. I'm still trying to get this share screen stuff going. Do I have it? Do I have it? Okay. Bear with me. Okay. 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of the people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me, were forever changed, all in the blink of an eye. False, very serious and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content. Although no charges were ever brought against me, it had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back, and I'm truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very full well the height of the legal hurdles that it would have, fading and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life that was only made after the considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owed to my children and to all those who have remained steadfast in the support of me. I feel at peace knowing I've finally accomplished that. I am and have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and the colossal support and kindness from around the world, and I hope that my quest to have the truth told will have helped others, men or women, who have found themselves in my situation, and that those supporting them never give up. I also hope that the position will now return to the innocent until proven guilty, both within courts and in the media. I wish to acknowledge the noble work of the judge and the jurors, court staff, and the sheriffs who have sacrificed their own time to get to this point so I can go play Dinosaur Rock with Jeff Beck. And to my diligent and unwavering legal teams who did an extraordinary job in helping me share my truth. The best is yet to come, and a new chapter is finally begun. Veritas num quan porat. Never. Truth never perish. Johnny Depp. Oh, Johnny. That Hunter S. Thompson typewriter prose, right? Isn't that what he's going for? He has to make it look like it's from the desk of Thompson. Always stay in character. Let me unshare this and stop screen. Thank you very much. I want to say welcome to Trinity Jean, A. Smith, Kevin Cowie, David C., CB, Sara. I'm here to judge Arm on his intro video playability if he just stays F it and leaves it for me next time. I thought about it, Sarah. It's so pompous. It's so pompously funny, the intro. Just so over the top, ridiculously. So it just even the on the right, the tab on the right says brand, the deafening brand. I mean, that's just pompous clicking on that tab, not only on the planet, but he did such a nice job on that. The Aquaman fonts and the colors. I love the orange and green contrast. An early request for the closing song of Jeff Beck's party classic, Hi Ho Silver Lining. Is that a real? I don't know Jeff Beck's playlist, Ben. I don't know if that'd be great if Jeff Beck waives all his does even is there even a metric for a Jeff Beck copyright? Nonya biz, it's what's known as inconsistent verdict. You can have contradictory conclusions that makes a defective verdict and can't stand. Depp's that was such a small font on his fucking I apologize if I stumbled over a word or two. It was very hard to read, and I have it on like it's expanded, and it's still he had it in that weird braille prose. It's an era. I have some videos. I kind of want to save them for Sarah because I think she'll want to see it. I have of Elaine Bredehoft, her interview with Gayle King and Nate Burleson. Who am I? Nate Burleson over here,
who is an ex NFL wide receiver. I don't know if you remember him in the 2000s. You may not. He played for the Lions, the Vikings, and someone else. He was okay, and he was on the CBS NFL show, and now he's on them. They love bringing in NFL players on these morning show, and he's part of one. He actually asked a really good question at one point, where it sounds like he's bragging, but it's actually about kind of taking accountability. I think he should have gone further with it, but I wouldn't have insulted her like I was hoping he would. No, what? So wife beater can enjoy. What is yours? So wife beater better enjoy. So Nanya, what are you? You're the nonconformist. You're the contrarian. Look, that's fine. That's fine. I think NA is not as bad as you, but I'll take it. I will take it. If you think he's guilty in terms of an abuser, which is the most nebulous, ambiguous, that's fine. We could use a little pushback. It's a very boring show if everybody just jerks Depp off the whole time. Sarah, all they gave her was not being able to prove they staged the scene and the second 911 call because that call is not allowed. Oh, you talk about the Adam Waldman. I have a nice little video of Adam Waldman. They play it on Court TV as well. Explains that a little bit and why that stumbled. I think it also had to do, Sarah, with the fact that Josh Drew and Whitney were actually credible witnesses. It's Tiger Lily. All right. Welcome, Tiger Lily. Let me see if I say hi to everybody else. I don't see. I see someone saying hi to Lauren, but I don't see Lauren Marie. There's Pell. Welcome, sir. Oh, there's Lauren Marie. Hi, Lauren Marie. We missed you in the last one. I saw your nice comment on the last video. Hooper, welcome. JK Status, welcome. Loose SL, welcome. Everybody's excited about. And we'll go over this. This is going to be a pretty loose chat. I kind of always wanted to riff off the chat more. Not that I didn't last time, but we were such a prisoner to the video, so we can kind of get into it a little more and not just. I get very very paranoid that the chat you're talking over the chat, but why are you here? Otherwise, it's for the deafening flavor. There's Cindy Clausen who likes the intro. Fine Chung, Sarah. Cindy Clausen likes your work. Fine Chug, welcome. Aquaman. David, welcome, sir. Always, 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 always love your presence. And Arnold Strong, numero uno. Marta, welcome. We bring you up a lot, even when you're not here, with some fantastic observations and film comparisons. I believe you are the only one to read the book Gone Girl, which I would love your opinion on why the book is more like this than because everybody's comparing it to the movie. You say the book is way more accurate to their scenario than the movie is, which I'd love to hear about. Shaka Khan, well, I'm actually devastated by the fact Amber's fakery will lead to more women with legit claims of DV. Don't be afraid to speak. It's on her. There's Marta again. Can we talk about Elaine's interviews today? Yes, we have that, Marta, queued up. Somewhat queued. I have it in a folder. I'm going to make my first attempt at. I screen recorded a bunch of stuff in my little free time today, and I queued it up for this. And I have Elaine in full talking to. You probably heard me. I said it before. Talking to Gayle King and Nate Burleson. I wish Johnny would do Johnny as well, says Tiger Lily, as well as John. I wish he could. He's so obsessed with looking like Thompson. His fonts want to look like Thompson. Tiger Lily, welcome the Tiger Lily. And so it was very tough to read. I was squinting, and I have contact lenses on, and my big fat face was shoved into the screen. It's just another reason to not go on camera because shit like that. Elaine was trashy on TV. I mean, look, Kevin. I mean, Arnold. Um, what is she gonna do? Is she gonna say, "Yeah, Johnny's team was right. We sucked. Amber's wrong. I know. I just somebody has to defend her. It might as well be. She's got to sit there and play the victim and appeal. She has to do that. What did you have to expect her to do exactly what she did? I can't believe it was that soon. I mean, I don't know. She drove to New York immediately, and I guess I mean, obviously they put all these offers up to do these shows, and she took it. I think she was just on with NBC and CBS. Did she do Good Morning America too with Stephanopoulos? Because we can go over that at another time. I was kind of nervous of copyright Nazis, and I screen recorded it just at a quality that wasn't. Then I cut off the watermarks and stuff, so we should be okay. Kevin Cowie, congrats to Depp. It seemed like an impossible win, but they did it. Get fucked in Hollywood. Eat shit, Amber. She doesn't even get to keep her donated divorce settlement. I'm a little lost on one thing, and because it's not coming up. Now, her team has to pay for his legal fees, right? In addition to what he won. I mean, this isn't really, I mean, that's what I'm to understand, right? Her team has to pay for what he, is this how it works in Virginia in a civil trial? Like she has to pay for his, what he fronted on the trial, if I'm not mistaken, because I know he had to, or like because maybe because he initiated it, he she doesn't have to because I don't know. I think he does. And as we know, the number right now, with you subtract the weird thing with Adam Waldman, that strange 2 million that she got, which are they're just doing a touchdown dance over. Um, it's $8.4 million. He's in the green. So I don't know. We're playing those in about a half hour. I want to comment. Yes, I'm not gonna. I'll save them for you to comment on. So she has to figure out $8.4 million. She has apparently a place up where that Ticksville trailer community was, and I don't. They throw these numbers out. It's apparently a modest 550,000, which he must live in with Eve Barlow. I'm a mad. I don't know if Shitney lives there. No, Shitney's married. Whitney is married. She's not. I think she's in the LA area. So we'll see. You hope that he's able to put a lien on every future earnings she has. So he just is. I think he should have. There was a cap that that Ben Chu and Camille decided to make it look modest, that we're not after money. So it was 350 grand. That money, I wouldn't have even. I would have just gone as high as you could, because you want, again. I can't emphasize this enough. She needs to be taught this. There needs to be a levied lesson. This needs to be a precedent set. You need to set a tone that you cannot ruin someone's life. She's not learning shit if you're lowballing her in the money. She has to feel it. Everything she does, everywhere she goes, she can't go anywhere. She's always just going to be eviscerated by public opinion. That was, no matter how this trial went, she lost in public opinion weeks ago. Probably I'd say by 3 days into the trial, anyone on the fence was turned around. So she lost. Marta looks. I like dinosaur. What do you call it? What do you call dinosaur rock at this point, Marta? I was watching a Mavericks. No, I'm sorry. It was, doesn't matter what game it was. It was the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves, and they were playing Guns N' Roses. And I thought to myself, this if when I was a teenager, if you played something and that difference. So this is Guns N' Roses now is 30, oh God help me, 33 years ago. So when I was a teenager, if you played something 33 years old in an arena, it would be like a barbershop quartet. It would feel. Is Guns N' Roses and U2 now dinosaur rock? I mean, you have to update this at some point. That's we play like Guns N' Roses and U2 and in an arena like it's new music, and kids have to be going. They know it from like Grand Theft Auto. I swear to God, so much time has gone by. That is not. That is dinosaur rock now. Guns N' Roses, and is grunge rock dinosaur rock. It's only 3 years later. If he's in Beetlejuice, that will make Lauren Marie's year. Lauren, that was the hot rumor that went around. If Warner Brothers is the production company behind Beetlejuice, I don't see that happening. If I'm Depp, I'm like, fuck you, Warner Brothers. I don't need your backpedaling hindsight 2020. You canceled me. You didn't believe in me. You knew the facts. I'm not, he'll never say no to Burton. But if Warner Brothers is behind Beetlejuice, I would say no to it. I want we want to make you happy, Lauren. We want Depp to fulfill your every casting wish, but I don't know if I think it's all predicated on if Warner Brothers is doing it. I would love to see him in that though. And the whole cast: Baldwin, Winona Ryder, Michael Keaton. I don't know. Will he play Keaton's? Is it like what would he play in Beetlejuice? Is Keaton coming back? Johnny checking at least behind. David, I'm surprised he didn't make it look like parchment paper. Wow, David. I had yeah, the music, the barbershop quartet is David music, by the way, is what I'm. So anything that David likes um, is now what we considered dinosaur rock when we were kids, because David is 95 years old. He got Melvin. I the purposely crossed out the date so it's written in European, and it's there's a little euro little to that, Melvin. You're right. I sat there squinting at certain things. I'm like, why is the M cut off? And it's purposeful. You're right, and absolutely right. And and David's right. It's parchment paper, so it's like there's like a wax on it. I'm like, why can't I read it? Veritas. That's so Riley Martin, Lou Cecil. I was thinking that yesterday when I read it. Veritas, oh, contingent. That's so Riley. It's such a great call by you, Lou. CB, Tiger Lily. If Amber and Elaine are still out there accusing him, isn't that? Yeah, Tiger. That was. This is your responses to this defamation all over again. My question is from the original defamation. If you don't believe her anyway, can you defame someone if you have no credibility to begin with? Did you ever take her seriously? Did you ever believe her in the beginning? Does she ever not have these lying friggin' eyes on her? I don't think I've ever believed her. So can you defame someone if you had no credibility to begin with? I don't, obviously, I remember, when it all hit in 2018, he was on the balls of his ass. The Rolling Stone piece came out. The writer was given a play-by-play of what he and Adam Waldman, his original lawyer, were plotting this entire thing. And I'm telling you guys, you have to read. I sound like such a pretentious douche when I say you guys. Uh, you have to read the Rolling Stone piece from 2018, written by Stephen Roderick. Depp considered it a hit piece, and I don't consider it a hit piece. I've read it several times. He's just a dude who wasn't like a super fan who really reported on, and he had to give it some, sensationalized prose to it, but it isn't. Depp chose. This is where I gotta push back a little bit on him. He chose, and he said, I reread the GQ follow up, which he did to try to refute it. Depp says in the GQ article he chose Rolling Stone because they stood for something, and he had a relationship with Jan Wenner through Hunter S. Thompson. Obviously, that's why. So So you're saying that you want it to be biased, right? So you chose them because they would have a vested bias. You don't. You're choosing them because they favor you. So you want them to be biased. You don't want objectivity. You wanted Jan Wenner to have the Thompson kind of fetish and be biased. So this guy said, well, I guess there'd been like a lot of time had gone by since Thompson's last piece in there, and this guy wrote a pretty honest front row account. He spent I think it was 3 days maybe with Depp in London in his castle, and it was up until the trial stuff, it was the best fourth wall into Hollywood I've heard. And Adam Waldman's hanging around, and they're plotting this comeback, and it's fascinating. I thought it was, I could, if you had an extensive article written on you like that, I think we'd all consider it a hit piece if it wasn't entirely glowing. How many times have we heard Howard over the years just like, if it's not this total obsequious ass kiss fest, it's a hit piece. And I'm really just tired of the phrase hit piece. Aren't we all? But I reckon we're going to do a show on that too, by the way, the Rolling Stone article, because it just doesn't get. I can't believe it didn't get more play during the trial. I think they referenced it once. Pay up, Amber. Watch. Oh God, I gotta say it. Pay up, Amber, and watch that wide load, yo. Ben Benjamin, welcome. Hooper, I think I said. Herbert Arnold, welcome. Amber is going to appeal. Ineffective. Well, don't we want more trial, guys? I want her to appeal. I want more entertainment. If what Elaine says is true, and I believe me, I knew a lot. There's a lot of artillery they had from the UK trial that I was shocked they never used. I would love. She's not going to win. She's already lost. It's completely a fool's errand to run this gamut. She's not going to win. It's just more entertainment for us. It's more dirt. It's more. I felt like there's even more stuff to mine. Sarah could have put Sarah as Aquaman, which is actually a Mira Hooper. I don't know if Sarah wants to be that's not a bad move though, Hooper. You're right. Maybe superimpose Sarah's face on Mira. That's not bad. The real that's what Mira's supposed to embody, what Sarah is, and all the broads in this chat. Amber's gonna appeal. We ain't gonna quit you, man. Cape Trustee. CB, please play the intro again. You want to play the intro again? Is that a little self-indulgent on CB's part? I'm more than willing. Let's do it. Let's do it. My brand. Really? Better the second time, Sarah. I don't even think Warner Brothers or DC can touch us with a. That's fair use. I love that insignia. That's really nice. Better the second time. Arm, can you comment on how you feel about the jury finding out one cat? I think you're talking about Adam Waldman, Whiskey Beer Breath, his original lawyer, who I was just talking about from the Rolling Stone piece. I think it was because Josh Drew, one of the Coachella con artist grifters that was staying in the homeless shelter he was running in the Eastern Columbia building. And his overuse of the word, I think it was the word specificity that convinced the jury. I think between him and Whitney, they were convincing enough that they kind of backed some of that, penthouse business, and the jury believed them that Waldman had that was strong enough to diffuse what Waldman had written, and they voted it. It's just a strange. If you're gonna lose one thing, maybe that have it be that, because it's not Depp that did it; it's Waldman as his quote agent, not agent of defamation is how they worded it. Uh, but I mean, there's going to be a sect of her super lemmings, feminazis, are gonna completely run with that. Very, very small little victory in this. Um, it's a very mangled case as far as the closure on it and the announcements and all these little battles that you win when they announce the trial, like, oh, there's 10 counts of this, and it's very, very, you want it to be almost like truncated and put into one little ball of victory instead of all these little battles along the way. It's very, very confusing, especially if you're someone who comes into this late. There's a lot of posers and grifters and rubes and charlatans who tried to latch onto this trial like in the last 2 weeks. And it's got to be a weird thing to try to see this all in like counts of, and then you're equating it to the UK trial with the 14 cases of abuse and the defamation, and it's not real. Well, she wasn't really, in the UK, it was really the son was the actual who Depp was suing. It wasn't her, but she's their main star witness, so she thinks it's now about her. It's such a crazy, crazy saga, all of it. It gives. I've been following this, from God, since the day 6 year, all 6 years, and it's given me a headache. There's times where I forget stuff and I circle back. I'm like, oh my God. So I need to like refocus sometimes and take it in. And there's people who are brand new to it sometimes that give me like a new insight or have a new this shit I missed along the way. We were streaming this every day, and these little like quotable TikTok moments that come out where I'm like, how did I not see that? I'm reading like some David screed and I missed some, So one of the things we're gonna do is circle back and we're gonna our little nuggets from each witness to really go back and really, really absorb it all again. Because I don't feel like I completely absorbed it all. I feel like I'm 88% whole in what I absorbed from the whole trial because and hey, I brought it upon myself. The fucking comments are better than the commentary. The comments in the chat, like we were saying this on Gunk last night. I think Casey Armstrong was saying it, are in a lot of ways upstage anything we have to say. When you have time to think about something, and some of the most brilliant scribes are in here, it. Some of the comments are so good it makes me uncomfortable to read it. It's so good. Please, I said with Satan, please ask Elaine if she's looking for 15 minutes of Saint. Sarah beat me to it. Let me catch up with the chat here. Elaine's doing some career damage. She looked at the absent-minded professor, and yeah. Tiger Lily, good. That's well said. Tiger Lily and I had some tag team commentary on Depp fleeing to merry old England for the result, which I am not a fan of. I'm never gonna. I am steadfast that that was a complete fucking delinquent move, and I actually read the exchange I had with Tiger Lily during that. Sarah, of course, chimed in with like a, a little snark, and she tried to, and it's fine. I get the people are it doesn't matter. It's a civil trial. He doesn't have to be there. But what would it be like if this was Fred Goldman, right? And that's the one of the most famous civil trials, and he wins, and they read the verdict, and Fred Goldman's not at his own verdict during the OJ stuff, and he says, "I'm playing four hands on the piano with Van Cliburn in Brazil." I mean, you know how killed he would get for that, or how rock and roll is it that Depp wasn't there for his own verdict? It's so crazy to me, and only in his world is that accepted. Like we talked about with John O'Reilly, how there's so much unrelatability in this trial. Like you just don't relate to anything they're doing. It's a lifestyle and a fourth wall to Hollywood that nobody, I don't care who you are, has any insight to or relates to on any level, right down to not being there for your own verdict after that screed I just read on his Instagram. And then to not be there is insane to me. It's such a forgettable thing he's doing. You're playing dinosaur rock with basically a John Lennon cover band, and he's singing, what's going on, and they're doing. I just don't know how that couldn't possibly be rescheduled. Not even rescheduled, just one day. I think all he had to do was push it one day. You don't think they'd wait for him? And this is a place. Here I am. I was going to this is the place that defamed him. So you're fleeing from the place that's embracing you, where you're going to win, and all your evidence and everybody believes you, to the place that doesn't believe you. You're fleeing to the fucking UK because you need to be attached to 70-year-old dinosaur rockers so you can play air guitar with fucking Hot Topic earrings. I mean, I just don't. I can't process that mentality. They didn't believe you. The UK, as far as they're concerned, you're a wife beater. They're allowed to call you a wife beater based on Dan Wooten and the Sun. But that's where you escape to. With all these people invested in this that have worked for years, I have no tolerance for that. None. And I'm sure people disagree with me. Oh, who gives a shit? It's so, and he's been so charming and generous with everybody. That's fine. I just think for every time he does that, and that's kind of points harder to like some of the stuff the succubus said, how there's no accountability and like the delinquency with Disney and being late all the time. Like it's just so crazy to me. I'm sorry. I'm sure Sarah will have a pushback later, a fangirl pushback. But I'll circle back when I read the exchange I had with the great Tiger Lily, who Casey Armstrong loves. Holy shit! Why couldn't that's the couple that should have been? If Tiger Lily were a Long Islander, that would be a celebrity couple. I have an idea if she'd be the what's her name, Anne Marie McCann of uh Radio Gunk. I have an idea for the new Aquaman movie. Keep Amber's character, but let her eat. Well, that's Arnold, strong numero uno. That's one of the rumors is that they're. Why do you think Warner Brothers and DC delayed this thing 3 times? You don't. I mean, they had their eye on this. They have the petition is kind of a decent. Uh, how do I put this? It's a decent barometer of what the general public feels that you could even get people to even you think, oh, what the fuck is this stupid online petition? Then it's up to like 4.2 million, and they claim they'll never admit to being intimidated by those tactics, but it definitely resonated, and they're watching every second of this, and it's no. This is the number one DC, and DC has just bombed miserably and made so many bad moves, and so many bad movies, and so many bad. Aquaman and the first Wonder Woman are the one things that they have success, and it's the number one moneymaker for them. They can't fuck with that. They have to make sure everything is airtight, watertight. I'm sorry, and pristine, and as soon as this all went down, like we've got to let this trial play out. We can't get, we can't. And then so they probably gave, how on like Blu-rays they have deleted scenes and alternate endings and alternate beginnings. I guarantee you, this is the ground zero for that. They probably have 500 alternate, and she's part of all of it. And they gave themselves an out where they can either kill her off, write her out entirely, reduce her scenes, and the I've said this a million times on here. I'm going to say it again. The interest that generates, the curiosity of how they're going to write her out or kill her off is going to increase the box office take of Aquaman 2. I bet you by 50%. So if it made 1.3 billion worldwide originally, I bet you it closes in closer to 2 of all the people that now will see it to spite her off this trial. I'm telling you, it was a genius move. And the third one's going to even be bigger because they're going to say, well, we're going to bring Mira back because we're going to recast her. I'm telling you, it's that's how I would play it. And I know that's what they're thinking. Unless they're just so stupid, I'm giving them too much credit, which wouldn't surprise me. Not sure. Oh, God. Ben, did you really hear the throat spray? Did you? Did I use it? I swear I don't remember. I'm going to use it now and tell me if you hear this. I, I'm out. I'm out. Damn it. No more chloroseptic. Marta says she didn't respect the jury and she's defaming Johnny. She should be sued. Um, well, the jury's all about. The one many lessons I learned during this is the jury and court and lawyers is all about optics and charisma. It's not even about skill. It's not even about deaf skill, legalese, deaf skill in the courtroom. It's about charisma and optics. And do you trust the person? And they don't trust her, and they don't trust her people. And when she went to the lawyers that agreed to work for her, have to be just like, okay, well, we know what we're getting ourselves into. Public opinion hates us before. So we have to know this is where this is all going to go, and we have to like her and believe her. And how many people can you find on this planet that like and believe her, that are willing to fight for her and represent, I guess, Bredehoft and Rottenborn, and you find names that are just repugnantly, even the names are uncharismatic. How do you find a name Rottenborn? It's right out of a Sleepy Hollow magistrate villain. Like, how do you find that name? And that, yeah, that's good. And he's the classic, lacquered hair Ivy League snob, and you can't root for him. And he's probably not a bad guy if you got him alone. But again, he's right, and he's ranked. He's every cliche you could have at a law school. He's ranked second in the law rankings I read, and Camille Vasquez, who came out of she's not from modest beginnings, but she's from like a very, USC and one of the other California, and she's ranked like in the hundreds somewhere. But they like her. They just like her, and she's more relatable, and she has a demure humility about her look, and that's just everything. If anybody's thinking about hiring a lawyer after John O'Reilly, find someone that you just try to use your intuition and hire someone that you just trust. They have kind eyes, and you just like them. Try to go by charisma and not accolades. Accolades. I'm sorry. Hey, Affy, welcome. Scott Balo, Ben Ford. I don't want all this. I just want Johnny to. No, she thought that was her supernova blast. She goes, I just want to be done with all this. I just want Johnny to leave me alone. And so, of course, you can't be a strong woman and a victim at the same time. Like, which is it? Are you this warrior of feminazi freedom, or are you a victim? You can't have both. So when she did that, it was already. Have you ever seen? I was thinking about this yesterday or 2 days ago. What? Have you ever seen someone? I mean, in the history, apparently, this is the first time a televised sexual, rape and sexual assault has ever been televised to this degree. Which I didn't see come up until who was saying this. God damn it! It was somebody I trust. It was illegal. It was someone on TV I trust. I can't remember who it was, but this is the first time that any this nature of civil, with rape and sexual has ever been televised, which is crazy to me. But have you ever seen someone just go into this rape and sexual misconduct harangues, and nobody takes it seriously? The collective country rolling their eyes and sneering and giggling. It's crazy. Could you imagine someone confiding in you, and then you're in a room like you're in human resources, and some broad who comes out with an allegation like this, and there's a team of people around her listening to this, and you did what people you sneered and rolled your eyes. In my life, I can't remember a time where someone's allegations were not taken seriously to this degree, like this collective thing where nobody believed you. That's unprecedented in itself. Just being, yeah, Chaka Khan. That's the other thing is like nothing she'll ever do will come close to the notoriety. If she's all about attention and fame, nothing she does will ever come close to the note. Depp too. Depp's gonna be hard pressed to do a movie where it's gonna come. Look, I'm there. I'm the guy who saw City of Lies, and I saw The Professor, and I saw Minamata, and Sarah and I showed you the box office take. It's like I was 50% of it. If nobody wants him canceled, and I'm talking to you, LawTube, and all you grifters and con artists who are pretending to be fans to get views and shit and subscribers on your channel, if you're so like in his camp about uncanceling his cancel culture. Where were you when these films came out? You didn't see any of these. You're part of the problem. You canceled them because you didn't support his films when they came out. You're part of the problem. Now you're, oh God, no, when he needed you most, you didn't see Minimata, you didn't see City of Lies, you didn't see The Professor, you didn't have his back in those 3 years, and everybody was so. I don't want to hear it. I honestly didn't expect Amber's statement, says Lauren Murray, after her loss to double down again on her being right. She can't, Lauren. She can't not. That's the personality of a narcissist, of an egomaniac. She can't back up. There's no admitting to anything wrong, and the jury saw through that. There was never a time she had any contrition on that stand, and all the hours we watched, it was never once she admitted to having a flaw or a peccadillo. I honestly didn't expect Amber. Maybe she's going to get some leverage out of it yet. I think she's going to get a reality show, Lauren. I'm not even kidding. It's going to be this Schadenfreude, super sleazy producer is going to come to her and say, "Look, let's just fucking fuck everybody. What's going to show you what you're up to now, and you're going to stick it to them. And we're just going to film you and your perspective, and we're going to put it on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu, and we're going to watch it, and we're going to say we're not going to watch it because I would watch it." I was actually surprised she won anything at all, but I was happy to see the jury wasn't stupid. Yeah, I mean, Scott Balo, do we need the jury to tell us what we already knew? I mean, I've screamed this a million times. Like, I don't need the jury to tell me what I've known. I don't need people who are just learning about this now. The court of public opinion should be the only thing that matters. I don't know what the result of this trial ultimately means. If we're film fans and we want to see it, what is it? Is it going to enable producers to hire him Do you honestly think Warner Brothers and Disney will admit to any wrongdoing in this? They can do whatever they want. They can fire you for any. They can make up. Disney can say, "Oh, those awful texts he wrote about how we're creatively bankrupt and we're pieces of shit," and he insulted all executives. Um, that that's grounds for firing alone. But you don't. If you're a fan of what made that guy great, the maverick, independent outlaw actor he was, the anti-leading man, the anti-Tom Cruise. You shouldn't want him to rekindle anything with Disney anymore. They did him a favor. We don't need a Six Pirates movie, and you shouldn't want a Six Pirates movie. Ben Chu sounds like a great candy bar and a great guy, Scott Baio. Oh, yeah, Ben Chu has kind eyes, and he's a big gummy bear, ophile, and we should all find Ben Chu's in our life. I wonder what he was like when he first. I think he's 2 years older than Depp, as far as I read. And so I wonder what he was like as a young lawyer starting out. I also read, I think Sara is coming on very soon. So well, there she is. She's posting, and Ben Chu could. That's how behind I am in the chat. Ben Chu could file an injunction to shut them all up. Fred Goldman hasn't gotten a dime, and OJ's in the country clubs. I wouldn't count on money. Just get his rep. What's his rep though, Tiger Lily? What is his rep? There's some damage still to his reputation. Depp has had some stuff spilled on him. If you were really paying attention, and I know you were, that's not particularly great for film people. It's just not worth the, the insurance part. We hear the drugs and the drugs and the drugs and the Maryland, and so do they want to take a risk and the delinquencies that he's been late to these movies? They can give him an attaboy, but we just we're gonna go we'll have you. You're a character actor, and we'll have you, but we're not gonna base a production around you. We're not going to give you your $25 million fee to lead a film. Well, you're a brilliant chameleon character actor, and that's what you've always wanted to do. But we're not going to those days of that $25 million leading man. We can't take the risk insurance wise. I don't know the the idiosyncrasies of this trial, what damage it's done to, regardless of the result. If these executives are listening to the other stuff with dog ears, the way we listen to Howard. Watch Amber get caught by hiring a hitman online. Kevin Cowie, we actually, Sara and I predicted to Sara that there'd be some crazy fangirl just sitting outside of Fairfax with a silencer and just put one in her forehead. Like there's no her existence. The result of this trial is not good enough for these people. She just shouldn't cease to exist. There's nothing she can do. There's no sentence that's good enough in terms of for some of these women who just truly feel he's going to marry them. If they tweet enough fake bruise pictures, he's going to see it and he's going to marry each and every one of them and move to Utah. 350,000 for punitive damages. Virginia's state law. It's capped at 350. Oh, by the way, thank you for Herbert. Virginia. The reason, if anybody's wondering, and I've gone over this, and it's definitely bears repeating, it doesn't come up enough. Why a lot of the motivation for keeping the trial in Virginia was Depp's team, and this is what can happen if you have so much money and resources, and you could do whatever you want like that. You can. It's essentially he has her playing a road game. So it's like you take her out of her element. You take this trial. Virginia's rules is what they prefer. You take her to Virginia, and all her Coachella con artist grifter friends can't get there. She's certainly not going to pay for them to be live witnesses, which are far more effective than the video witness. And it looks like, and again, a lot of those friends have turned on her anyway. But have you noticed she had very few friends show up and testify for her? And a lot of that had to do with not only did she just burn every bridge on, but she couldn't get them there. So Depp took her to Virginia to essentially play a road game because she couldn't handle not being in her backyard in LA. She doesn't know how to. So that was a great strategy. And Ben Chu knows the layout of the Northern Virginia, DC landscape and legalese, and she just wasn't able to counter everything Depp could do because she just doesn't know the landscape. It's really smart. Scott Bailey, as soon as she lost, she spoke in this. Absolutely. The mere optics, one phrase is all it took. She can bankrupt on everything except the 350 cap and punitive damages. How does bankruptcy work with her? It's like I'm bankrupt, can't touch it. I'm sure she's got a zillion. There's so many countersue things I'm hearing about now. I heard a theory, Marta, that she could sue her legal team that advised her to put her name on the Washington Post article, that she had that vetted by lawyers, and they gave her the green light that was okay to publish that and put her name to it, and she could sue them for what she's owed. Can you hold on 1 second, everyone? I have to get a Amazon package. Sorry. That was from Depp's team. It was a mega pint. How tired are we of the mega pint jokes, everyone? And what the hell was I with that, Marta? So yeah, the lawyers. She could potentially sue the lawyers who greenlit her from writing that piece. There's always a way out for her ilk, isn't it? Isn't it? She's always got some Teflon way. Let's hope she doesn't. And I just don't know. Hope that's a. I mean, there can be 30 lawsuits coming at us. I have another lawsuit written down that I read about involving Camille. Sara is going to be here in moments, Scott Balo. Even the Foo Fighters is done. Yeah, that's pretty good, Kevin, right? Who would have thought the Foo Fighters are dinosaur rock now? Absolutely, right? Their first album was 96. It's a long ass time ago. It's 26 years ago. I didn't come here to be told how old I am. Classic Tiger Lily. I think you're dinosaur rock if you end up on the Walgreens play. I love David at Walgreens playing air piano to Joshua Caddison. Doug's always shopping. He's always at a supermarket or Walgreens or in Woodland Hills. OJ's living off his pension in the NFL can't be garnished. Yeah, Hooper. And Tiger Lily was saying it too. OJ's people had him I guess he has it all set up where you can't touch his pension and Florida's corrupt weirdness, and he just flees to all these places where you can't touch it. It's I was surprised. I think it was Rodney was rattling off what he got from his NFL pension. It was way more than I imagined because he played a long time. I think his last year was like 1979, I want to say, when he was on the 49ers. I barely remember. I mean, I remember being a little kid and I had a football card of him on the 49, like my first pack of football cards. He was on the Niners. Now the case is over. Arnold says, Amber and her lawyers continue to defame Johnny and Jared. Yeah, well, that's uh, they're gonna they're that stupid and that much hubris and that pompous that they don't. What's the definition of insanity? Repeating the same thing over and over again and just going. I mean, it's the same letter almost. It's crazy. Still no Sara. Also, I heard Robert Downey Jr. wants to meet Sherlock Holmes as a villain. Do you guys want to see? Is Sherlock Holmes a Warner Brothers film? Pell, can you look that up for me, please? How much isn't it funny? Like Downey, who was on the balls of his ass. Remember, he was an Ally McBeal. I always cracked me up when I watched it was a commercial showing him on Ally McBeal. I didn't really see it, but I remember laughing when I saw him. And then John Favreau, decided, who's the master at giving people comeback, like Tarantino, decided that he'd be a great Tony, and how I guess he had been totally clean and in and out of rehab, and just he probably gave him physicals and pee tests and blood tests, and they decided Downey didn't demand much money, and in order to get that Iron Man film off the ground, they thought, well, it's just a great actor who kind of looks like Tony Stark. We don't have to pay him anything because it's Robert Downey Jr. and he's just happy to have anything. And it went nuts. And if anybody knows Second Chances, him and Depp go back to old Hollywood, and I just don't know. I did just know each other from the scene. They've never been in a movie together. It's just like, well, we're peers, and I'm born in '60. We're kind of the same age, and we both have dark hair, and we both have fetishes for silent comedy. Like they're. I don't even know. It's just that old Hollywood strip scene of, Nicolas Cage and Depp. Well, not. I mean, Depp came in a little later, but so it's like the Brat Pack and Estevez and Sheen, and so they know each other from God knows where back then, and Downey kind of has his back, and that's a great guy to have your back at this point. He's got a lot of weird clout with Marvel now. I think he has producer status, but again, Marvel's owned by Disney, and I just don't see that coming together. I just don't. I would love for him to be a Marvel character. I could think of a million he could play, but I just don't see it happening. Dinosaur Rock is shit like Rolling Stones. Scott Balos. David, I heard a 33-year-old song in a basketball game when he was a teen. It would be like Beethoven's Fifth. Impeach as karate. Vindicate Amber. Oh, G Canada, welcome, sir. That your herd husbands unite is one of the funniest. You got to get that. People people get nuts when you write that. I gotta add. Okay, I think we have Sara soon. I just added her to the stream. I don't know if she's gonna speak soon. Good evening, G Canada. Crazy Robin, welcome. If I didn't say hello to our Nubian princess, Johnny's always open many wounds, or Crazy Robinson Pete, I should say. Johnny's open many wounds, both professional and personal. Yes, yes, Crazy Robin, but does he have the charisma and the vitamin D, and the D stands for depth, to heal those wounds? How poetic is that?
Are you going to let me at Bonnie or what?
There she is. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to your show.
This is not my show. It's so
Yes, it
pompous.
is.
You insist. You're so demure and modest. You don't want. This is all. I don't know. How you want to. But you're gonna be. You're here now, and you'll be here half the time, and we'll try to tweak it for when you're available. And
I'll be here when you send me the link, and then that's it. You do whatever you want.
I'll send you a link, honey.
Oh,
There's Marta Keaton's coming back. Depp's gonna play his nemesis. That's Marta's. How do you? What's your intel, Marta? How do you know all this stuff?
I'll take it.
That's a pretty good theory, though.
Okay, you want some inside info?
Mike, yes, I do.
Actually, keep going. I got to look it
As
up
you
again.
know,
Let
as
me
you do,
verify.
let's
Oh,
hear
okay.
it.
Okay. Okay. Appeal wise, apparently in Virginia to have a successful, even get the process for an appeal started, she has to set aside the damages amount along with her attorney's fee. She has to put that into a trust or in like oh my god, I'm post work, so bear with me. The brain's fried. In an account basically. So the
Let me say
money is there
welcome.
like an insurance policy.
Hmm.
She doesn't have that money. So I think all of this appeal talk is just them blowing smoke.
And they could deny the appeal. What's the deal, Sarah, with who's paying for the trial? The one we just watched. So if he wins. Does it have to be a clean sweep in order for? What is the deal with the loser pays for the trial? What is the deal with that?
They were denied slap motion, so they have to each pay their attorney fees.
Okay, that's a big deal. That's the whole thing.
So
That's what he got pretty much.
yeah, if she is able to pay, which she's not, he will get his attorney fees paid. She will have to pay his attorney fees plus her own plus what, 350,000
Yeah.
for punitive. Yeah, escrow, Marta. Thank you, Jesus Christ. And I did that for like a year as a job, and I couldn't even think of escrow. But yeah, she has to set it aside in escrow. But it's not
Listen
going
to
to happen.
Marta with the Beetlejuice dirt and the escrow, and what is she looking at? Jesus Christ! Got a
Yeah.
little research team, and everybody's well. Speaking of research, Sunflower Dragon, welcome. Kevin Cowie, welcome. Fucking loves him some Sarah. He is a Sarah groupie if there ever was one.
Well, God
Holy shit!
bless.
We all should
Um,
welcome Rogue Diva as well.
she also bought a $1 million house in Joshua
No,
Tree.
actually, it was under a million from what I read, unless you
Oh,
saw something different.
I
That
saw a
upper
million. They could have
California.
been just trying to overinflate it. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's like out in the desert in Joshua Tree, which how pretentious. Because she's an artist, she likes to paint. So she's going to take her child, raise it in the desert for a while apparently, and probably overdose on peyote every day. So feel bad for the kid.
yeah, Pellel, you bring up a point which is kind of like almost like the how you deny this point. Agree. She was in a position of credibility. He gave her that credibility by marrying her. Not only that, Pellel, but Depp kind of modestly went one of the underrated moments of the trial, and I don't know why it doesn't get more play. Is Depp bluntly saying, and he wasn't like bragging in his own kind of modest way of saying, yes, I called the Warner Brothers executives and I got her the job on Aquaman. It's not a vagary. It's not up for conjecture. He got her the job on Aquaman. So like that alone just destroys the whole thing that she ever had. You know what I mean? Like she had nothing, no grounds. She can't get her foot in the door. There's no salary you can attach to her without
Mm,
him and the only ground she had to stand on was the fact that we're going to bring back the same Mira. We don't need you as Mira.
yeah. Is my mic audio? Is it my volume too
I think you
low?
sound good. I think you sound
Okay.
really good.
All
I don't know
right.
what the chat thinks, but
There was a comment about how it was low, but okay.
if you want to raise, can I raise it? Or I think you sound good.
I got it right in front of me. I can raise it if I need to.
You got to also remember, I'm a Long Island big mouth, and you're this demure Oregonian
I
who,
am at the end of a 12-hour workday, so I'm fried. I
yeah.
won't be on this whole time. I'm just letting you know. I'm here to mock Bonnie and whatever else you want to watch.
So speaking of, let me get through this. Marta says the media's trying to defend her, which makes me think Disney's behind it all. That's a pretty good theory, Marta. It's crazy, because one of the clips I have is, these online publications, and they used to be mainstream, from Hollywood Reporter to Variety to Deadline to Disney, all the major corporations. They all wrote hit. Yeah, I guess you could. I hate saying hit piece, but you read them, Sarah. They were.
Mhm.
He's dead. He's toxic. And just eviscerating him. And they can't back off on. They're not going to print retractions. They're going to
No,
hold
of course.
steadfast because they look. They can hold their ground on that. Oh, believe all women and stuff. Unless he's going to hurt their bottom line. But I hold to the fact that I think remember the movies we rattled off, Sarah, on Sunday, the list of all the
Uh,
bombs he had in a row.
yeah.
If those made their money, we wouldn't be here. There'd be no. There's no. It's all about the greenbacks.
Yeah.
If
I
Transcendence made 500 million in the states and $1 billion worth, you really think we'd be here? You really think
mm,
they'd cancel? No. So that's where he
I don't
sabotaged
know.
himself. Some of those decisions.
I think maybe had he made even more money, he still would have like fallen into the passion project of the Rum Diary and still fallen into this love trap that was set for him, and he'd still be here. But the grossest article I read today was how this was a loss for domestic violence victims yesterday. It's like, who do you think won? A domestic violence victim who
It
just
doesn't
happens
count.
to have a penis. But if you listen to the audio, you know who the victim was in that. I don't give a shit if he used the C word in a text message to his friend about her. I would have said it to her.
Well, how about the pushback though when you say, well, you're a willing participant. You're a willing pussyfoggian participant. You let her into your world. You're supposed to have some radar for people, and you couldn't see through this. You knew in 6 months what a piece of shit she was. I
Mhm.
mean, and you're love bombing her while she doesn't want anything to do with you until she found out her career was going nowhere, and then she now is a she's game for it all. Now she's going to fall into your and this he can romance someone in ways that we don't, just from 3,000 miles away. He can he's sending her shit to her house and movie sets and stuff. So the fact that he got gamed by her how many times over is not a great commentary on his, and he admits it, but still You knew what a succubus she was. A scant year and change into the thing, but
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't hit the ejector seat. Why?
Yeah. I
Why?
think
How many options does he have?
he fell into that weird trap of her saying, you know, I get so upset because I don't have a foundation with you. I want a commitment. I need to feel safe. You know how many times she
You
said
sound
that
like
in the
Gary.
audio?
Yeah, that's
Safe. I
right.
need to feel safe. You're
Yep.
killing me. I'm having a heart attack every day because you want to leave. And he fell
Feel
right
safe.
into it
Feel safe just means I need a golden parachute for the rest of my life.
with no
It's
prenup. Thank you.
with no prenup, right? Which was
Yeah.
all the prenup was part of, and again, I go back to his family told all along.
Hmm.
His sisters hated her. His brother hated her.
His
His
mother hated
parents
her.
hated her. And they're
Yeah.
all telling you, and his friends hated her. And they also, Stanhope wrote the fucking piece like a year in
Hmm.
2006. So they all saw through it, but he still had, and I guess it's just out of embarrassment. Like I can't have I can't fall into her trap. And the quicker we get divorced, the worse I look for it. You have to try to
Hmm.
fight. You have to see if you can work it out because it's just more embarrassing to get divorced quicker. It's like
Yeah.
again,
There's a comment. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Tiger Lily was
Uh,
just writing here about the Rolling Stone piece we're supposed to do the show on with the Stephen Roderick article,
okay. Hmm.
and she's like how Depp felt that it was a hit piece, but celebrities don't get don't get the obsequious gushing. Everything's a hit piece, and the guy just kind of reported what he said. It's a really Sarah, you read it. It's great.
Hmm. It's a very insightful interview. Him
Did
at
you at
his
any
lowest.
Yes. Yes. And Adam Waldman's lurking in the background and they're plotting this very thing as you in real time when
Hmm.
you watch it. And did you consider it a hit piece when you read it?
It wasn't what I wanted to read, but I wouldn't call it a hit piece. That's
No.
what they captured what was happening at the time in his life. He
Andrew,
has Hooper commented he'd be a fool to get married again. He's been dating the same woman for like 2 years, and her name is Sophie Herman
is
with
that
two N's.
substantiated though? I
Yeah, there
can't.
was
We talked about that and I can't get a follow up. She's like isn't she again like
she's
nepotism
British
princess of
actress,
yeah,
I think. She
she's
kind of
born
looks like Dr.
royalty.
Muffins.
Yeah.
She looks
No.
like Dr. Curry a bit. But good for him. I'd go down on Dr. Curry right now.
Oh my god. Has anyone ever experienced Sarah Lingus broads in the chat?
God, gross. Anyway.
By the way, you'll be happy to know I got the video, the black and white video you were begging me to try to find.
You did? Of the
Yeah,
party? Oh my God,
I
great.
screen recorded it.
Okay.
So it was weird because it was done on that stupid TikTok form, which has its own screen. It's not 16:9 and it's not
Mhm.
4:3. So I just
It's a pain in the
You know what?
ass.
I'm gonna play it now. See if I can play it now.
Yeah, is it on the desktop on your
No,
computer
I
still?
gotta share the video. Can I do that here?
Yeah, but it's gonna give you some options.
No, I was testing it before.
Okay, okay, good. All right, you know what you're doing.
Marta with a great metadata joke. Armin, you got to remove the metadata. I think she's talking about playing the video from Gayle King.
Oh God, that
Oh no,
you.
everyone's loving your intro. By the way, I played it twice. They wanted me to play it twice.
I think you just needed a pee break, so you played it the
No,
second
I
time.
didn't. Who?
I want to
Katie Aldana. Welcome, Katie Aldana.
preface this video real quick if it plays. This was a party after Depp's final day of testimony. He took off to the UK. He had a party that night, and you'll recognize some people from the court that attended his party if it
Okay,
plays. Crossing my
so I'm gonna
fingers.
try to do this.
Okay.
Video file. Okay, I have a folder. It said, okay, at Depp after party. Tell me if it works.
It's here we
You
go.
see anything? Okay.
Okay,
By the way,
let's.
it's silent.
Can you
There's
pause?
no. Yes. Shit. Can I?
Yes. Okay, this is Judy, the stenographer.
You are obsessed with her. I
I
think you want
love
to go
her.
down on Judy, the stenographer.
No,
I think
no,
you
no,
want.
no, no, no. Judy has a man, I'm sure, and he can. I'm not.
You love her. You could not take your eyes off the stenographer the whole trial.
I love Judy, but you have to be the perfect specimen for me to even think about that on a woman. So
Okay,
there's maybe
explain
one
everyone.
woman.
This is so. This is not. There's no volume to this. Or whoever did this video, it's just
Okay,
one of these.
I know who did it. It's the skinny girl that follows Depp around. She was a UK lawyer, and she is the one that posted this originally. She's the one that sits in the back seat with him in the SUV and films him waving at
Okay,
people.
I didn't. So Joelle Rich.
Yes.
She's from the UK, and she's the okay. Okay, she posted a Thompson quote last night.
Oh Lord, thank you, Brian. Sarah
The
Lingus.
Brian
Hey,
Janu.
I'll keep talking about conolingus if you want me to for those super chats. Thank you, Brian. Thank you,
Thank you,
thank you, thank
Brian.
you.
Sorry, you are now a sex worker. You now an
So I
OnlyFans.
have
That's
to
what
start an
Amber
OnlyFans
Heard's
now,
gonna do.
right?
Yeah.
A Deppening OnlyFans.
Yes, with your Natalie Maines pipes.
You have to like submit some videos too, so I can't do all the work.
Sunflower Dragon's dog jumped off the sound of thunder. Love that 80s. Sarah, how'd you choose the music for the opening?
um, copyright free.
Okay.
I forget the words I used. This was like a very long time ago. Copyright free is the important part. All right, so are we
Okay,
playing?
so I'm gonna play this. This
Go
is
back to the
the
beginning.
okay. I kind of did.
Oh, maybe it was.
Okay, this
Okay,
is the after party
yes, this is after
on
the last day of
Friday. They're
testimony.
celebrating before the verdict was. It's almost like they had inside information,
He threw a party to say goodbye to everybody.
which is bullshit because I had this. You missed the rant before about him
That's fine. I'm sure
going
I've
to.
heard it.
I'm gonna go back to it, and
Yeah,
so he can
before you
go.
push play though, take that comment off so we can see the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Texel. Feminazis are active on Salon and Slate. If the radicals can't control the narrative, they become very indignant. Well said, Texaho. Let's see a millennial become indignant. I can't believe you got through that whole rant without saying millennial once. I'm so proud of you, Texaho. Yeah, Marta. One last thing. They didn't understand. I said that the entire stream. Everybody will back me up. How I felt over and over again. The jury wasn't truly going to understand what the trial was about, and it just eventually just go, God damn it, we just love him, and we love Camille, and we love Chu, and
The problem
Jesus.
is Bonnie's bitching about how the jury didn't understand. You're the reason they don't understand with your windmill arm movements and you're going through this timeline. You expect
She's a golfer.
these people who don't know anything about this trial, you're going through this timeline like lightning speed.
Yes.
Me, who knows every detail about this, I didn't understand what the hell she was doing. She was jumping everywhere.
And the drugs and the drugs and the Marilyn Manson and the
I
drugs and the
don't
drugs and the
get it.
drugs.
And I'm still waiting on this Amica cream demonstration she promised us.
Yeah.
When did was that like on the Earth 2 trial that these Amber Heard fans watched?
Pell loves that DC Comics reference, Sarah.
I had to.
Earth 2. Okay, so I'm going to so this is okay, this is the after party Friday before he flees off to go play some dinosaur rock with Jeff Beck, who's a member of the fucking Yardbirds, if anyone remember. I kind of know them. I think like my older cousin had a vinyl out, Gary Delabate, and had the vinyl album in Uniondale. And he had his own. I've never heard him. He's one of these guys again, his late 70s with darker and thicker hair than your younger brother.
Mhm.
Um, it's okay. There's no volume because it was done on Instagram, Sarah. So deliberately it had Leonard Cohen music over it. So
Okay.
I had to take
Okay.
that out.
Yeah, yeah.
I took it out.
Pause for every scene change here. I want to see if we can pick people out.
Okay,
This broad here is the
that's
frizzy-haired girl
Kennedy.
that direct examined Depp.
Yep, Kennedy from MTV.
Judy.
Okay, that's Wayne Dennison in the background.
Yes.
He did the examinations where he was like constipated,
Is
and
that
he's kind of lurking in the background. And this is Sarah's favorite stenographer.
you're gonna miss Dennison? I missed the whole team. Okay, let's
Yep.
go.
What's Depp got? I don't think Depp's drinking alcohol. Well,
He
maybe
drinks Coca-Cola, remember?
he's not flying the plane. But what is in that cup?
I think it's just a glass with like a black I don't know what you'd call it, decal on it or something, or a I don't know.
That's the new couples. Judy's gonna be. Judy's gonna. Judy's the sublime Russian he was talking about. Look at how happy. Look at how giddy she is.
I would be.
There's this Doogie Howser lawyer in the background who's got to be
Oh yeah, yeah.
in his early 20s,
He's
and
so
that's his.
cute.
And now, who we got on the left
I
here,
don't know.
Sarah?
I don't know who that is.
So again, Joel Rich is one of his consultant lawyers from the UK, who's this raven-haired, mysterious. You saw her lure.
Oh, you cut out. Yep. I can't hear you. Oh,
How about now?
okay. I hear you fine. You have to go back because you missed Dr. Curry.
What's this?
I don't know.
Who's
That
taking the picture right now?
I don't know.
We don't know in this shot. These are some newbies. There's
There's
Dr.
Curry
Curry.
right there. Okay, white top.
All right.
She's on Depp's side. Blonde woman. That's Dr. Muffins. Dr. Curry.
No glasses, in her jeans, and this is Depstein Island
Hey men, check
garb.
out the gap. And that's the frizzy-haired lawyer who did a very good job questioning him on the stand.
Who's that brunette on the right?
I don't know.
Can't she's
I
in
don't know
this lot.
everybody.
No, I don't either. But you'd think she would have shown up. I guess
Looks
she
like
wasn't.
Lori Laughlin from the Full House days.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
That's his driver back there.
Yes. He is the second in command and security to Sean Bett, who we'll see later. He looks like Jeff Fish with the hockey hair, and he's right out of like a 1980s, Montreal Canadian goon defenseman. There's Sean Bett.
Yeah.
So Depp's about 5'10". That makes Sean Bett, what would you say, 6'5", 6'6"?
Yeah, that's not a good shirt for Sean Bett.
No. He's got his Opie man boobs. What was the joke you had? You called Opie and Anthony tits and zits?
I didn't think of that, but it's from the
Somebody else.
subreddit.
Okay.
Tits and zits. There's Dr. Curry again.
And is that Camille or no?
No,
That's the
that's
other
not
woman.
Camille. I don't think Camille's that tall.
No, you're right. She's not. That's it. That's all it
Okay.
is. Somebody just gave a little insight as to what they were going. Not the, it's not exactly Depstein Island in 2015, but it's a little
Yeah.
bash they had before he went and did his little dinosaur rock hot topic thing.
Did you see the Isaac
Jeff
Baruch
Beck.
Instagram?
Welcome, Andrew Morgan. I did. Should I
I'll
read
pull
it?
it up. No, I'll pull it up real quick.
Can you send it? Do I have to clear
No,
it on
I can read it. I have
okay,
it,
read it
right
if
in
you
front
could.
of me. Okay, so this was early this morning. Okay. He says, fucking A, justice served. Pow. Punch. Punch. I am beyond the moon happy for my friend, his family, all his friends who have been there for him, the amazing team of lawyers who fought for our friend and epically kicked royal ass and revealed the truth of the matter so you could witness the evidence with your own eyes and ears. I am also beyond happy for all the millions upon millions of people who have been there for this entire endeavor on this insane thing called the internet. Wow, is all I can say. Your love for truth and justice knows no bounds, and I thank you for that. And I want to say thank you to all of you for loving my friend and sharing your love with me also. It's overwhelming. So thank you big time. And yes, I think it's time to start painting. I would love to buy one of his paintings.
Yeah, you know how much that's gonna go crazy when he starts selling. He knows exactly what. By the way,
Oh, yeah.
is that he's on Instagram?
Yeah.
How come his Instagram didn't get more attention along the way? Do we not know it was there? Is it like in this weird?
A lot of people, including myself, were on his Instagram immediately looking at his very interesting paintings. That if you bought, you're probably put on a list somewhere with the government.
Yeah, Scott Baylor writes, best is how she didn't even look at the jury because she knew she lost, but while she was trying to con them, she was constantly staring at them. She just can't. She just has no. That's her biggest nightmare is that her acting prowess was exposed as so
Well, they
she can't even play herself.
They stopped returning eye contact like by the second hour of her doing that. It is so odd and uncomfortable the way she was doing that.
NA has some pushback on the piece. He said the op-ed was more about how society treated her for coming forward rather than the focus on Depp's abuse.
Mm,
You can
but
make a case for that. I mean, but
all
he's
the references
definitely the
though,
implication.
yeah. And she admitted she wrote it about him. And the reason why she wrote it was because people were supporting him. I think they completely misread how they should present their case, and they should have stuck to the technicalities of the law, which she had a good case, but she had to over embellish. She had to be the drama queen and tell you how the bottle may have been broken, and how she didn't mention how she was dancing the next day doing ballet, but hey, people know.
Hey,
and
go
and
ahead, sir.
s- dry sobbing for hours without a tear. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
She
and
couldn't
her
control
acting
herself.
coach admitted that she can't do crying scenes, which
Yeah.
was you show the jury going, "Really? You what?
Mhm.
How long you been doing this? You're
Yep.
histrionic, and and I think they really grabbed hold of that and remembered it. I really do. Hey, Greenpoint, welcome, Greenpoint. By the way, Greenpoint, did you know that Io Tillett Wright, she's the transgender con artist, Coachella grifters that Depp kind of took on. Not at She wasn't at the penthouse. He was at the Depp compound on Sweetser. Was actually the phone call Io Tillett administered to the police, which is part of the whole Adam Waldman thing, is from Greenpoint. She was walking down a street in Greenpoint when she made that phone call to the cops. That started
Mm.
the whole thing. It's crazy, right? The little part of Brooklyn where we bring up all the time where Stony Black, Napolitano, and Monique are from.
Mhm. People
Withers and
also,
Graham.
sorry, I'm gonna be quiet while you go
No,
through
go
the
ahead. Go
chat
ahead. Go
in a
ahead. No,
second, but
go.
people are forgetting what they answered yes to for his case
Yeah.
on this verdict. Malice on all three, meaning she lied, they didn't believe her, and it was a hoax, and et cetera, et cetera. But then the only reason she lost or she won that number two on her claim was because there was no second 911 call that was put into evidence. So his statement references a second 911 call. They could only go by the evidence that was
That's a good
submitted.
point, but you really got a sharp like I mean like I know like for me, live streaming it, I'd miss just little subtleties here and there, and I catch some things, and I'm kind of looking at the brilliance in the chat, so I wasn't, and this is why we got to circle back to so much of it, because I just remember going, there'd be some like someone would make a meme, or it'd be some weird, and I'd be like, what?
Mhm. Yeah.
How did I miss that? Like,
Mhm.
or I just step away for a second. So we got to, yeah, G Canada, his world in quotes, he writes, naming penthouses 1 through 6. The G Canada, that's so funny. That's so perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about. How you can't relate to this. Just the naming the penthouses, and how ridiculous did we feel when we go, hey, penthouse 5 is where the art studio is and where they have the Thanksgiving, and penthouse
Oh,
1 is
it's
eyes.
my favorite.
You love it. I mean, you
I
did a
love
video,
5.
and it's not that I don't enjoy it, but that's how ridiculous that world is.
Yeah.
G Canada is spot on naming the fucking penthouses, and we're memorizing it, and who's attached to what. And Depp didn't show up for the verdict because he thought he was going to lose. Finding malice is usually impossible to prove, especially with a famous person. That's a good theory, Na. That's an interesting take. Um, I just think I had this huge rant before. I don't know if you want to circle back about him not going to that. But I think it's ironic that he flees to the country that considers him a wife beater.
Mhm.
You know, in the UK trial, they're allowed to call him a wife beater. So let me leave this loving, insanely supportive community of everybody that knows I'm right, and let me flee to the country that's calling me a wife beater because I need to hang out with 75-year-old dinosaur rockers with British accents.
Well, let me tell you about that too today. Adam Waldman on his Instagram today posted a picture of the front of the London Royal Court, the front of the building,
Right.
and had, oh God, he wrote something about truth prevailing. So I have a feeling, and apparently they have the right to do so now. They can go to the UK court to
Overturn it.
reevaluate the case.
Wow.
not necessarily go through the same process, but apparently
Now
the
they come around, right?
yeah,
It's safe for them to look at it now. Yeah, fuck them. Where were they all along? They're
yeah.
part of the problem. Fuck them,
hmm
you
And they have
bandwagon
proven perjury now
Brits.
because, he was simping for her and talking about how no way she could be a gold digger because she donated the money to charity. That's proven perjury.
David Searich, Jeff Beck needed Johnny's guitar licks. Yeah, speaking of licks, I was watching a Hollywood Vampires video the other night, David C. So I'm reading the comments and like really, really like experienced guitarists are weighing in. They literally don't think he's playing or plugged in. Like they're going crazy on it, and I was riveted to everything they wrote. His riffs don't match the sound that's coming out of the amplifier, and I really was thinking that. And Sarah, you think that all the time too. Where his arms are just like in rigor mortis,
He is
where
the
he's
ultimate rhythm guitarist,
yeah.
where he reminds me of Bono. Bono's strumming along on the guitar. You can't hear a thing Bono plays. But they pass it off as like the rhythm guitarist. So
I don't
does
understand
he
what that means.
play? Yes, he plays. But I think he's turned down so low, and
Yeah,
he's there just to say Johnny Depp is on stage and
and
playing
how many
guitar.
people are showing up to that because he's there? You know,
Yeah, everybody, 95%. I'm not going to see
Texaho
Jeff Beck.
believes it was a power move. Not present for the verdict was actually a power move. He accomplished his goal regardless of the verdict. Yeah,
It also goes
well,
along with I know how you feel about it, you and Tiger Lily. Boo. Anyway, I love you both more than words. But
and you hate
I
everybody.
I look at it this way. She brought this pox on his house.
Pox.
He is the one
Nice.
who's had to fork out the money to fight this. Why should he be there as fodder for these media outlets to judge him based on whether they think his reaction is valid or not? Put that on her. Let her be there taking the responsibility for bringing this. I don't think I like her.
Like Tiger Lily? You crazy?
No, 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 no.
I
Miss
know, I know, I know. I know. Kylo Sierra Alpha, welcome, sir. Arm is on a roll. I guess I can't remember which. I'm one. It's probably the rant, the UK rant. I'm not sure which. There's a couple rants I had where I almost lost my voice. It really, really was in the zone, or just black. One of those blacked out rants where you forget where you
That's
are, which
okay.
is always nice. I think the best way to do this is forget that you're doing it almost. That you're just having a
You
casual
should have
comment.
heard me when I'm watching the verdict. As I'm throwing up, basically, I'm screaming, "Cunt! Suck it! Suck your own dick,
Yeah, I was
bitch!"
gonna ask you what you did during that.
I had to be shushed because I was screaming at her through the television. That first yes, he won.
Yeah, yeah. Did you
Suck
get?
your own dick, you
Did you say
bitch.
that? You
Yes, I
screamed that
did.
out in
And
front
then
of
I,
people?
then the person I was with said, "Shh," and we sat in silence.
Was that crazy cartoon cat around when you did that?
Um, she might have been asleep on the couch. I don't remember. I was in a zone.
Oh my god. Sunflower Dragon, very good point about Benjamin. I would like to know what you think about that, Sunflower. But I guess you somewhat agree with that. You got to be there. It's just so disrespectful to everybody who put all their time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears into the trial to just take off in delinquency. I just find it insane. I just, like I said, it's like if Fred Goldman said, "I'm just going to go to Bolivia and play four hands on the piano with David." While the
Yeah.
verdict's being read during OJ, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" If the jury's got to be thinking, too, looking at him going, wait a minute. So I guess you got these shows booked with Jeff Beck, which is all predicated on your fame. It's not predicated on your music. It's your fame. That's why they're showing up to see you. So I guess you're not canceled because
Mhm.
why are these people selling these shows out? It you know what I mean? It diffuses the entire cancel part of this because how are people showing up to see you in England for a genre of entertainment you're not even part of that and they're selling it out.
Mhm.
So you're not canceled because they're showing up to see you. So it completely contradicts the whole case. And you haven't even read the
No,
verdict. If I'm the jury and I see that, I'm thinking that.
they didn't see that.
Okay.
Okay. Sunflower sent us a super chat too, so don't miss that when you get
I
to it.
gotta. I'm so behind.
I know. I'm gonna get a drink while you go through the chat.
Juries should be replaced by anonymous professionals with law degrees. That's an interesting take, NA. I also don't like that it's 7 out of 7, which I know you're doing a contrarian thing. I know you, and I don't think it's forced. I think you believe what you believe, and that's great. We can't all agree It's a very, very boring. If we all just kiss Depp's ass the whole time, we all hate her. We all get it, but we need some opposing viewpoints here because it's very boring if we're just obsequious towards him the whole time. I don't like the all 7 out of 7 thing, but that point's harder to Depp. I don't. I think that's bullshit. Why isn't it just simply majority rules in Virginia? You have to have all 7 people. What is that? You can't have all 7 people agree on anything. I mean, who decided that? That's crazy. Why isn't it just 4 out of 7? I'd take 5 out of
It's
7. Isn't
you gotta
Congress like
remember
that?
though, Virginia is like old school
Yeah,
state
yeah, yeah.
of the Union, so their laws are their judicial laws are going to be, I don't know, a little bit more tight, for lack of a better word.
Speaking of David, look what the great David writes here. Is this just so good? Johnny just kind of has a basic bitch taste in music. It's
I
weird he
agree.
isn't more discerning and avant-garde. That's really good, David.
I'm
That's
not with
really
him for
good.
his taste in music. I'm with him for his penthouses, and that I can provide him with a loving home when he comes home from the
I
movie
would
set.
rather watch Depp play wiffle ball than watch him play guitar. I really mean that. I would rather watch him in mundane barbecue scenarios than watch him play guitar. I'm not kidding at all. I'd rather see him play air guitar on a wiffle ball bat than actually play guitar. Not, I swear to you.
Yeah.
Against what's that?
No, I'm listening.
Okay. Do you want Johnny to stay in America for the sake of being an
Yes.
American? No, I don't know, CB. Like at some point, he's so obsessed with like this. He loves to fancy himself an expatriate and counterculture. And, oh, look at me! I'm so embraced in France and England. Well, they look at what England did to you. Fuck
I agree with
them.
that. You gotta like look who gave you the correct verdict. Virginia, like
Exactly.
one of the original states.
You're a
They gave
wife beater in
you.
England. I don't care if you like Monty Python.
I know. I
That's
know.
by the way that's where he gets that from. Is another guy, Terry Gilliam, was a brilliant director, and he used to be in Monty Python. He's a actual cast member of Monty Python, and he's American. And you wouldn't know it if you hear him talk because he has a little bit. We always talk about the Euro lilts, the celebrities with Angelina Jolie and Madonna and Gwyneth Paltrow, and the chat reminds me of some other people that have it. But he has it. He has it because hanging out with those, the Monty Python cast, he developed this kind of Euro lilt. If you hear Terry Gilliam talks, and that's kind of where I blame Gilliam for Depp's accent.
I'll go with that.
Adopt UK justice. I keep saying it, parallel. So other people are different than the government. The UK people probably love him as much as we do. I don't know. I don't know. They're pretty cynical there. They're weird. They might not like Americans infringing on their deal. I don't know, Pell. We'd have
It's
to
just
poll
it's
them all.
basically as the same with the United States. It's the media, especially the media in the UK, that are just calling her the victim still somehow. And none of these people watched a minute of this trial.
Ben, for the first time, read the op-ed article at Star. I love that people just don't even, like, because it's such a crazy case. What it's all really about and the specifics,
Well,
and it's all of it. So, there's so many layers to it.
my other issue with her case, and this is what caused her to lose in terms of the op-ed, she references sexual abuse. And she references, from a young age, this happened to me, college or whatever age. Why didn't she focus on that, saying, I was referring to an event in college that I don't want to get into, but that's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
She didn't have to weave this magical tale of a bottle, a Maker's Mark bottle that somehow, still was half full of alcohol and the label was unblemished after this assault. She didn't have to go there. And she could have said, I was referring to the abuse I suffered as a child. But she is obsessed with him,
yeah.
and she has to keep going.
I'm proud of you for being a teetotaler and you knew what Maker's Mark. You actually said the
I
right
from this
liquor.
trial,
Yeah,
I
you're
love
learning.
I have to tell you, I almost bought a bottle because I love the wax.
So
I love the
don't waste.
wax.
Give it to me. Don't waste it on
I'll send
a
it to you.
teetotaler.
Is it cheap? Because I'm poor.
No, it isn't cheap.
Oh, never mind.
I think it's It's not top. Steve Grill. It's not top shelf liquor, but I think it's middle. It's not. I think Hunter S. Thompson used to drink Chivas Regal. That's top shelf.
Yeah.
When I was working security with Hunter, they wanted a bottle of Chivas and a big bucket of ice. I think I'd get along magnificently with Thompson. Besides the, I don't gun. You Homo sapiens, you Hunter sapiens, and your guns.
Well,
I
I'd
don't
go
shoot
shoot with
gun.
him.
Yeah, you'll shoot with him, and
Yeah. You can tell us how Republican we are
I'll raid
just
his
because
ice
we have
machine.
guns.
He's not a Republican.
I know, but he's got
Thompson? Not at
guns.
all. No, no.
He
He's just
should.
he's one of he's from Kentucky. The whole state is conceal and carry. He's
Oh,
a
but
colonel.
that goes against your narrative that I don't want to
About
get into. I'm just saying.
I think you're more apt, Sarah, wearing an FBI windbreaker than carrying a gun. I think you're much safer.
No, I'm
Is the
much
Aquaman?
safer having a car where I don't have to walk to work through the
Well, you're doing it for
homeless camps.
your your power walking, right? Your Gale King power walking
Well,
exercise.
yeah, but when my car was broken down, my single car home had no way to get to work, so I had to walk. And this is
Is
at
the Aqu?
5:30 in the morning through the camps that are surrounding my
No,
neighborhood now.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Is the Aquaman franchise tainted?
No.
Marta thinks it sucked. I don't think it's. I'm a huge Aquaman at Aquakit Armvikit. Um, I see how people don't like it. I think they took a great approach by being slightly goofy and tongue in cheek and owning the camp, and so they went the
Mhm.
complete opposite direction of Batman v Superman, and it worked. And Jason Momoa has a massive, broad fan base. In
Yeah.
addition to that, and a lot
Nobody
of
is
it
going to go
was
see that movie for her 5 minutes in the
no.
movie.
That's the bottom line.
Just recast her. Nobody's going to know.
I can't believe how clear the throat spray comes out in on a mic.
Oh, did you spray?
I did. I had the chloris. I ran out too. I got to get a new chloroseptic bottle. Martin, it's strange considering Aquaman. Yes, he's a great. You're wrong, Balo. The
Oh.
man rules 75% of the world, which is the oceans. If he fought Superman, if he just dives underwater deep enough, the yellow sun is extinguished. Aquaman has super strength, super speed, better fighting skills. Superman's powered by the yellow sun. He gets eviscerated by Aquaman if he takes it to the
Mhm.
water. It's just not even. It's just such an underrated character if written correctly.
I didn't know you liked Aquaman. That's news.
And that Superman's also susceptible to magic, and so the Atlantean magic from the Trident could slay him
Superman is
magnificently.
my least favorite. I just
Well,
think he's so boring.
it's like rooting for the Lakers, right?
Yeah,
It's so
exactly.
the Yankees. It's like he's got every power in the book, and it's not a challenge. I
Mr.
mean, I like
Pollyanna
he's
Superman.
so part of the fabric of all things. You can't get away from. So I just because he's everywhere. I mean, I have to accept. I like him. I don't. It's just too easy to be a fan of. He's just too many powers. It's too easy.
Mhm.
Things are just. She's hard to like. Yes, John O'Reilly, welcome, sir. The jury here followed the evidence without a
Yep,
biased view. It seemed like it. It seemed
exactly.
unbiased. Linda Aries, welcome. Aunt Bonnie on today's show. I have a clip. Well,
Yeah,
the whole
I'm gonna talk about that mountain of evidence. I don't know what the hell she's talking about because, okay, we'll talk about it then.
no Hooper. She elicited zero charisma or sympathy, and that's everything. And I've found that out.
I don't know. I think some of that was like a compromise.
G Canada,
That
and
number two on her claim. Somebody may have been a little hesitant because she was sobbing up on the stand for so long
yep.
to say that she was completely lying. So maybe they compromised and gave her the less, serious of the three. I don't know.
Yeah, Sarah Scott Bellow is talking about how everyone abbreviates abuse and domestic violence. Like it's just like they're so
I
paranoid.
don't want
The
to do
grifters,
that.
ABD. It's so fucking
You
gay.
want to know you
It's
want to know
so
why they
gay.
do that? Because the algorithm, I know people know this, but the algorithm after you post your video, it goes through your broadcast word by word. If you say a semi whatever offensive word,
Right.
they will move your AdSense money from the green light to the yellow light. So instead of 5 cents, you make 4 cents. I'm not going to sacrifice the quality of my show for a
Look at the
penny.
integrity. Look at you. I
I'm not
love
going
the
to.
artistic. You sound like George Costanza. And I will
No, I'm
not
not.
sacrifice my artistic integrity.
I'm not talking. I will not say the virus that recently went around because they will knock you down for that. But we won't talk about that. But I'm gonna curse, so I don't care.
Yeah. This. What are we here for? Moving into. I completely agree. But I
Mhm.
do respect the guy like Red Bar, who
Yeah.
are these podcasts ripped off their whole their entire format from, who was doing goofing on radio shows and podcasts like the best there is, and just hated the rules on YouTube when he kind of went underground
Mhm.
to his own website. Right? I mean, you introduced me to him. I wouldn't even know who he was if it wasn't for you.
I love him, and I have to go
He's an
watch the.
incredible broadcast,
He's
incredible.
back and not in a good way, but I have to go watch the latest episode
Yeah.
sometime this
And
weekend.
so he has a website where he kind of and he does like 9 hour shows, and it's like this high level video. He's just he reminds me of a cross between like when Greg Kinnear was on Talk Soup, but he's got more of a vitriol to him, or old school Kilborn. He's so good at he's so smooth. Funny guy. And I
Mhm.
don't give it up that easy. I really don't. But he started all this shit. Like what we do with Howard, he basically does with like Rogan and everybody. I don't know how you get on his radar.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd feel privileged to be goofed on by him but he was in our chat a few times.
I don't know.
Were you in the chat when I
I don't
said
think he
Mike
was.
that you don't
I think that was somebody wanting
it's beneath
attention.
him? Okay.
I'm not saying it's beneath him because he was on a
Yeah, he's done
spree.
yeah,
He
was
was appearing in chats. I don't know that that was him.
wasn't he on that Cyan Z thing? That guy is not
He's even
exactly
talked about
Rogan. He's
he's even
goofing on it.
talked about how he stays away from Howard Stern topic because it doesn't interest him.
It's boring to him. Like he's just
Yeah.
kind of like everyone. Yeah, I don't blame him.
Um, Tiger Lily's comment here, it's absolutely
It's a
true. I
great
don't
comment.
agree though that there was no fear. She did have fear when he talked about sending her home, because he wanted to spend time with his daughter or him leaving a fight. That was her fear. And then she would hit. But that was her only fear. I totally agree with you. She needs help. I don't even want to talk about her anymore, to be honest.
If the jury paid attention to social media, Amber would have been awarded
Yep.
nothing, says John O'Reilly. I totally agree. I
Mhm.
think there could have been fear invoked in them to not, but I don't know how family members and friends aren't poking them with all sorts of stuff. But they did about as good a job in 2022 as you possibly could do with staying away from being influenced. And
Mhm.
everybody pretty much is praising how the jury handled this.
Did you see the new hashtag going around today?
No, I didn't. No, because I was busy, but I was making video. I didn't see it.
Well, it is hashtag I cut for Amber. So all of these girls that believe in her are doing self-cutting to support her. Don't ask
John,
me
Or-
how that's going to work. And my opinion is if you want to die on that hill of Amber Heard, nice knowing you.
I like G Canada's "Herd Husbands Unite" better than that. I think it's way more tongue in cheek.
Mhm.
But nobody knows. I mean, that's if that ever took off, that'd be the funniest thing to troll. Just to see people go nuts and to not know he's kidding, or is he
Mm,
kidding? John O'Reilly says Amber's case went downhill when Camille started cross-examining
yeah.
her. Elaine's direct was abysmal.
I
Absolutely.
I think it went downhill when she got on the stand the first time and just wove that tale. It was
Yeah.
so ridiculous.
Well, they were close to not even having her testify at all. I mean, they were. I mean, that's what we heard. I don't, no pun intended. I don't believe that was. She's way too fucking attention hungry. This is her big moment. She thought she was going to dazzle everybody, and casting directors and
Mhm.
directors and producers going to see her doing it, and it was going to turn in. She was going to just and it. We realized she can't even play act as herself.
Yeah.
That the worst thing she could hear is what a horrible actress she is during this.
Mhm.
You can't own your own statements. There's not a single person who found her. It's crazy.
I don't want
It's
to jump
crazy.
topics, but I was watching or listening to Dr. Curry in rebuttal her second time on the stand today, and she went kind of soft on her the first time she was up there. She's kind of tentative to
I
really
don't think she's
reveal
malicious.
everything.
I don't think she's a malicious person. I think
No, but
she's
when
just telling you.
when Hughes got up there and told about how Curry didn't know what she was doing, that unleashed Curry. And that's the second time she went
Yep.
up to testify for Depp.
Yep.
She told it all.
It's always
And
interesting to see a big brain like that get angry.
yeah.
And she can rip you apart without looking like she's angry. She has a
Hmm.
smile on her face, unlike fucking Hughes, who's just like the hag, supervillain version of the good witch and the bad witch. She
Yeah.
never smiled once, and Hughes just had that sort of Heather Locklear, Amanda Woodward kind of delivery, and it was insane. I just kept watching her, going, "This she can't be this smart. She
Hmm.
doesn't pause. She doesn't stumble over anything. She doesn't even Camille." I would say like during she had the very quick press conference. They didn't answer any questions, but if you got a question off, I wish I was there. And I said, Camille, um, I, I can't help but notice you mispronounced grievous. You said grievous. Will you continue to do that in the
Oh my God.
future? It's the one chink in her armor through the whole thing. I was obsessed with her mispronouncing grievous.
Hmm.
Texaho writes, let's not forget how many celebrities waited to publicly support Depp during the
Of course.
Texaho.
The biggest
That's
pussies
that's
in the
the thing a
world.
millennial would do. I know. You see them now and they're coming out and they all should be eviscerated by the Depp heads and the Depp wives. So fuck you. Where were you 2 years ago? You big pussy. You have his back now that the result leaked, that you knew this is that was I was waiting to be really annoyed by that. And I think it's just gonna get more annoying as like in the next couple weeks. You're gonna see everyone, oh,
Of
I knew he
course.
was, I know Johnny.
Hmm.
Art of Elysium CEO testifying she wanted the chosen sister Whitney to not do a very wrong thing. Yeah, it was Jennifer Howell. Her thing was so weird, right? We got
Yeah, that was
what a
that,
nothing
that was
burger.
probably the biggest miss by Depp's team.
You know how much hype that? How many days in a row did
Well,
we hype that?
I told you why that happened, right? Why it was cut
Um,
like that?
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Sue Monster, for the compliment. We
Yeah,
lost. Yeah,
thank
we
you.
was- we wanted to
You
let
did a
let
great job.
we weren't really totally available. I didn't want to do some half baked bullshit. So we kind of wanted to wait until stuff marinated and we can play some stuff. And I don't
I didn't
like.
want to. I didn't trust myself to do it live because if he had lost, I don't know what I would have done.
Wow, really?
I don't. I couldn't trust my reaction had he lost, and I'm on a live stream. I didn't want to put myself under that pressure.
David bringing it back to Howard again. Howard will cast Amber, the son of the beach, reboot, and take her up to his apartment, and Amber will spill her guts about Chauncey Hayden.
Oh, I hope so.
Little Lila Arciera reference.
I might have to support Amber Heard.
I love
Hashtag.
that saga. I love that Lila Arciera
Mm,
stuff. That's so great. That's came into this. Well, that's a fourth wall, that right? I mean, speaking of fourth walls. Balo came in this trial totally blind and ignorant to everything. It's about 20 minutes, and I thought she was full of shit. 20 minutes
yeah,
in
it's
that
just
house.
not right. The reactions, the stories, nothing added up.
That's a great point, Rogue Diva. Why does Johnny have to pay $2 million for what Adam Waldman did?
Uh,
I agree.
Again,
I completely
I
agree.
think it was a compromise. All you got to do, if you want to figure out who won this, other than the regular amounts that were awarded, look at the punitive damages that were awarded. That's for damage. That's how it affected you and what they think you should be paid for your emotional trauma. For example, he got 5 million. She got nothing.
Sunflower Dragon writes, Johnny should release a statement. He'll pledge the entire judgment to charity and donate any actual dollars he sees. That was Sarah's prediction a long time ago, Sunflower. Sarah said he's going to win and he's going to do this sort of end zone touchdown spike and say, here's the fucking money for the ACLU and the children's charity. This is how it's done. There's no Elon Musk pledges. This is a donation, not a fucking pledge. And honestly, to Sarah's credit, you said that 1 week into the trial. It could very well still come true.
I wish they could have, and it wouldn't have come off good. So I see why they didn't, but I wish they would have thrown that in the closing. If you feel the need to award our client, Mr. Depp, damages, that money will be pledged. I don't think they can say that though.
Yeah, Crazy Robin. They're gonna the big productions, and again, if Warner Brothers and Disney doesn't hire, what's left? Is it Paramount, the big movie companies?
I think they're all
Do
coming.
we Do we care about him? I don't care if he does it. I don't
I
want him doing another Pirates. I've said that a million times.
I think he's going to be in Sherlock Holmes. What, 3? How many have they
That
done?
could be Warner Brothers. I think it is.
Okay. Robert Downey Jr. wants him, who has supported him
Yeah.
the entire time.
But Warner
Wants him in
Brothers
Sherlock
canceled him,
Holmes.
Sarah. Warner Brothers summarily canceled him
Well,
because
I think they'll
Fantastic
do whatever
Beast.
Robert Downey Jr. wants them to do.
I don't know if he has that much power. I don't know.
I
I
don't
just
know.
don't see these companies backpedaling on. They can fire someone for make up any reason they want, and they could track his, his asking price is just too hefty for what
Mhm.
he's bringing in anymore.
Yeah. No. Hate to say this, but I guess we'll see.
I know I hate Depp getting compared to Nicolas Cage or Bruce.
That's
Nicolas Cage never
there's no
had
comparison.
as far as acting. Forget about box office acting talent. Depp is insane. He's more like Gary Oldman far more than he is like Nicolas Cage. And
I
there's a
see why
zillion
Nicholas
things.
I see
Go
why
ahead, Sarah.
Nicolas Cage won his Oscar, but Depp
Yeah,
should
but
have won 3
he's
Oscars to that
he's a
one.
he's a 1-2 trick pony. But again,
Yeah.
it's funny the tie into Nicolas Cage. If you don't know already, Nicolas Cage is who got him into the business.
Mhm.
Got him on to Nightmare on Elm Street 1, and Depp bailed Nicolas Cage out of his financial problems when he was going through that shit. What was it, Sarah? 8 years ago?
It's about right, yeah.
About 8 years ago, that Nicolas Cage had all that financial stuff, and Depp stepped up. I think he gave him $3 million. He's saying,
Mhm.
no, and you got me into the business. I'm paying it forward.
Yep.
Texaho, absolutely. Hollywood has no problem with certain liabilities. They'll risk it on pedophiles and predators and creeps. I don't know. It's a balance there, how they think and how they're perceived, and they'll contradict themselves all the time. But again, this is really laid out there where he's admitting to these delinquencies and derelictions, and so I don't know. According to his ex-agent Tracy Jacobs, he is toxic to these people.
Mhm.
They don't want the headache. They don't want the risk. They don't the insurance problems. I will again. We'll see where it goes. I can't. It's impossible to predict how they're gonna move on this. But if you're
Mhm.
just interested in pure acting talent, forget about the corporations. Forget about the big production companies. Just hope that he goes back to that spirit that made him great in the '90s.
Yep.
The counterculture outlaw that knew how to pick a script. Forget about the corporations. Johnny needs focus on fixing his teeth, yeah. Uh, I mean, his mental health is probably there. I don't know what his psychological routine is now. Is he seeing a therapist and a psychiatrist, and what meds is he still on right now? It's a great question
Mhm.
because we learned a little bit of it during. He has a ton of um, psychological ailments. He's bipolar. He's not schizophrenic, but he's suffers from. I mean, depression and bipolar are kind of one and the same, but he has a ton of stuff going on, and you could see it in his face. I've always suspected that, and now it's substantiated.
Mhm.
Amber's going to move
Okay.
to Canada.
I'm going to say it for you. Sunflower Dragon, thank you for the $10. And Marta, thank you for the $9.99.
I'm
Thank
still not
you.
there.
I know you're so far behind. I'm going to get before they disappear.
And I would have gotten to it. I'm sure I did see it at top. Believe me, I would have. I had it logged away. I think I wrote it down to Amber's prime target for a sympathetic Stern show. Yeah, that's a good guess. I think she's going to get a reality show. Ben, what do you think about that? I think some sleazy fucking
No.
Cohen-esque producer is going to give her a reality show, and he'll be like, we know you're going to watch it. I don't care what that. Do you think they have morals, Sarah, to not do that?
I think I don't think they have morals,
Why
but I
why are
think
the
they're more
Kardashians more
concerned.
noble than she is?
Well, they actually are, and that's sad,
Are
but
they?
I think so.
Cooper, hey, everyone's deaf side except G Canada, who has a chance with the succubus, Katie Aldana. The Amazon package is really that behind. God
Yes,
damn it!
you are. So let's go so we
It's a
can watch the
it's a
video.
backward compliment to me that I give you such exclusive attention on every comment. I could easily just plow through and yeah, she did the Depp himself at Amazon. Cool. I wish G Canada. I wish I could take a dump that fast. I wish.
Oh God, your
I would get
guy.
where would I get my reading? All my Depp news though comes from going to the bathroom. I
This
find
is such
all the
an
stories on the
overused take, but women go in, sit down, finish, get up and leave. Men have to read for an hour in there,
I'm a
and
reader,
I don't
not a
get
music
it.
listener.
I don't want to sit in the toilet. It's a very dirty room.
Pell just said Amazon delivered its Gilbert Grape action. Could you imagine they made Gilbert?
I would
Todd
love that.
McFarlane made
I want to see
Gilbert
the I want to see
Grape
the
action.
mama action figure.
Oh
Is she
God,
in a bed?
that's a lot of plastic, right? Well, that's why I heard that my nephew said that female action figures don't sell because people think they're getting ripped off
Yeah,
because
they're
the
smaller.
female, it's right, they're one fourth the size of the male action figures. So
Mm-hmm.
why am I paying
See,
whatever it is?
I only buy the
14.9.
females, like the Evil Lynn and the
Yes.
Tila. I only
Yes.
buy those.
Linda Arias, I was happy with the verdict for AH being awarded anything. She's not believable. None of it. Unfortunately, she thinks she got some victory with that $2 million in Waldman. I can't stand it. That's tainted. It's kind of that little weird asterisk that you can't get rid of. It's just kind of, they're going to run with that. Another theory is from Brendan. Depp's team will forego the money if Heard agrees to appeal. Well, that's interesting. What do you think about that, Sarah?
I think Dipsy will forego the money. I've heard agree. I don't know. I don't think they care.
They may not. It's a
Let
zillion
her.
directions you can go with the
Like I said,
countersues and the
she's got to
appeals.
put all that money in escrow to do an appeal. She's not going to do that. I think they're just, talking big and bad. They're not going to do it.
John O'Reilly says the ACLU lawyers vetted the article, but you may recall the CEO attorney claimed Amber added things to the final version. That's why they said they were losing. That's a great callback, John. That's a good. That's how she can't use
Yeah.
them. I still think at a desperate move she will try to sue them and blame them. That it was more than just. She'll find someone to sue. She'll never take accountability for anything, especially that piece. She in her mind that's what a psycho does.
Mm-hmm.
She believes her own bullshit. There's no rehabbing that. We all know people who believe their own bullshit. Mr. Sideburns, arm choking on his ice chips. Was I really?
Yes.
G Canada. I believe that. I'm out of ice, by the way.
I'm like an hour behind on this because that came up right when I got on. You were choking.
Congrats! I love that they're congratulating us for Richard
Yes.
Corona. Welcome, sir. I think he's a new Depening faithful.
Yes.
Welcome,
Hi,
sir.
Richard. We led the revolution for Depp. The Deppolution. I can't do that. I can't do the wittiness right now. Not that I ever
Let me
could.
let me put a lime wedge in your delicious compliment. Thank you, sir.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
No, no. Well, you're a teetotal. You don't know that. Do you know that people insist on putting lime wedges in Corona?
Yeah, I do know that.
Corona's almost lighter than Coors. I don't think you can actually get drunk on Corona. I was one time I drank like 16 of them. It was a few years ago, and I
I
swear I
only
didn't even feel a remote buzz off it.
I only use lime juice to pressure cook my ribs. That's it. It's very good.
Crazy Robert says Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor, but he's no Depp.
I agree.
I agree with that. I agree from a charisma standpoint. Talent wise, you can go either way on those two. They're both really super talented. Downey's really supremely talented. Um, but again, I think charisma nobody touches Depp, and that's why he won what he won. And I think his charisma won that you just can't teach that in any acting school. We knew
Mhm.
it from Jump Street. All the Jump Street producers knew it when they cast him on 21 Jump Street. He's so charismatic. He so won that room. They reshot the fucking pilot with him. Do you realize that?
Mhm.
They originally cast in 21 Jump Street a guy named Jeff Yeager. And so they watched the pilot and they're like, something's off about the Hanson character. Stephen Canal said this. So they had a recast and they saw Depp and they're like, oh my God, we got it. We got Hanson. And they fucking reshot the pilot just to put him in. That's how strong it was. And we really owe all this to Stephen Canal and Patrick Hasberg, who may have on this show, one of the co-creators of 21 Jump Street.
Mhm. Just have to schedule it at this point.
I know. He's very convivial on Facebook. I saw him. I follow him on Facebook. I stalk him on Facebook. Just I'm learning. I'm doing what Amber did. I'm learning his ticks, and his son's a professional surfer, and I'm learning it, and I'm learning his
Oh my
politics.
god.
And
Ugh.
it's true. His son's a pro surfer. Bon Jovial will make an appearance
It's up to you. It's your show.
Well, I would like to ask him about the whole stuff with the dog smuggling.
Okay.
Marta loves escrow.
No,
She's
that's from
oh,
back
that's
when I
old.
first met.
I thought
Keep
a second.
going. Make some progress here.
I'm screwing. Well, this is a compliment because we got these great people posting, and um, I'm behind because I'm giving it exclusive attention. Amber doesn't count. She continue being that. She could start her own business like Jessica Alba. Interesting, Lauren. Or Cameron Diaz. There's enough women who would support her in brand. That's a great. That's Don't give her any ideas, but I'm sure her people are working on something along those lines. That's exactly what she could do. You're
Mm-hmm.
right. She's absolutely right.
Get through a bit more, and then we'll play a video.
Okay, the cost of an appeal would be enormous, starting with having to produce many copies of the transcript and evidence from a 6 week.
Oh
Good
yeah.
point, John. The money stuff is how they're all. I think that's her money part is. Thank you, David. Is such for everybody is what everybody talks about. Where is she getting the money? Who's paying for this? What does she get for this? Her money aspect is probably the thing I think that gets brought up the most
Mm-hmm.
in all this. How could she possibly? She's beyond bankrupt. How do you? We could never do that. If you were 8 million in the hole, would you not just be like jumping out of your skin right now? She knows she has these weird little Elon avenues to go to. It's just. Are you ever broke if you're her? Even when Depp was supposedly broke and he lost his manager's bamboozled 650 million out of him, and I don't know, but he's to blame for a lot of it too. But I mean, the guy, there's no broke with a guy like that. He can go to Japan and film a Japanese beer commercial for 12 million bucks in 2 weeks, and you're out of
Mm-hmm.
the hole. We can't do that. When we're broke, we're broke. We're Skid Row
We
broke.
gotta,
We're
yeah, we gotta
Sebastian Bach.
scrape 2 pennies together to make a $10 bill when we're broke. So yeah, I envy him in that regard.
You say regard now?
Mm-hmm. I'm
All
barely
right,
able
just
to
wait.
talk at this time of the day. You're lucky.
Single at the moment. Well, borderline personality, push pull. I love you. I need you. Oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Robin, are you quoting Vinny Favale?
Oh
I love you.
God.
I think she is. I think she is. Restless, restless. It happens all the time. I love you. I like you. I changed my mind. By the way, who was the guy with Tom Gismondo hair in the court, Sarah?
I don't know.
The gray ponytail. Isn't he a lawyer on one of those
You
like
talking about
Johnny Z?
Runkle?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know
that's
that's
it. That's it.
Gizmondo
Yeah,
hair.
that's Tom Gismondo.
Okay.
Johnny had Depp has an ego. It's a subtle ego. It's in there. Believe me. He knows how to be humble. He knows, but he has a little ego that's lurking inside underneath that, and you see it come out once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Depp was too deep. Yeah, and Dr. Curry is hot, says Marta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the consensus. I don't know anybody who dislikes her. I mean, the beloved. She was the star of the trial until Camille took the stand, and she started interrogating. The Me Too movement, safe speak, Depp speak. I don't know if it's been discussed. Amber's insurance paying her legal bills was interesting. They'll
I don't
not pay
buy
the
that.
claims. This is Okashi. You don't buy that?
I don't know. I've heard that. I know that's going around. I don't know. I think they're limited. They
Yeah.
cap out at a certain amount that they'll pay. So she'd still be on the hook for a lot.
Thanks again, Brian Janu. Okay, I'm gonna play.
Yeah, let's
Let's
do
get
that.
through.
Let's do that. Let's play it because I want to comment on it, and then I'll leave you to finish up the chat.
You're not gonna leave us, are you?
I may. I don't know.
Oh, come on, Sarah.
All right, we'll see. Let's play the video.
What time? You got 6 o'clock your time?
Yeah,
You must be Brian. Look, I'm not gonna
I have to go to
fault
bed
you.
by 8
Okay,
because
we're
I
at
get up so early.
we're at 2 hours here. That's fine. 2 hours is a good. Well, we're gonna go. Well, we usually go longer than that. Okay, so this could invigorate you. I'm gonna play Aunt Bonnie, Elaine Bredehoft on Gayle King's CBS morning show, and in this you have Nate Burleson, who is an
Oh,
NFL,
was
an
that
ex
him?
NFL. Yeah, wide
Okay,
receiver, played for
I
the
only listened
Vikings
to
and
it
the
today.
Lions, and he was big in the 2000s, and now he's one of the hosts.
He's
And
a
he
big
actually
Browns
asked
fan.
her a really good question.
And that truth never
Oh,
perishes.
pause.
Elaine Bredehoft is the attorney for Amber Heard and is with
Hey,
us
pause
now. And
it.
we should mention we did
Turn the volume down a little bit.
All right.
also reach out to Johnny Depp's team, but they declined to be interviewed this morning.
How's
Elaine
this?
Good.
Bredehoft is the
I think that's good.
What?
That's good.
Okay. So okay, so this is Elaine Bredehoft on CBS's morning show with Gayle King, Nate Burleson, and some lacquered-haired
May
white.
I say, Bonnie got a haircut overnight to make her appearance tour of New York. Bonnie, it's still not good hair. You still have that face. And I'm going to say that now because I felt
She's
sorry for her.
almost 70.
I don't care. I felt sorry for her for 5 minutes when I heard she was crying in the bathroom. She is spewing this bullshit. She can do what I wished Amber Heard would do yesterday during the verdict. I don't care for she scum attracts scum.
Mm. Well, I said you have to believe in her to represent her, to put yourself out there. So, birds of a feather. You're not representing her unless you're cut from the same cloth. You have to believe there's something there, and you're tapping into what she's doing. So
No,
that's
she
why
thought this would
everybody,
make
all
her
her witnesses are
famous.
unlike, and that could be too.
She is a shit
Thank you,
lawyer.
Sunflower. Yep.
There were stories about her during the discovery phase of this case where she didn't know what the hell
Thank you,
she was doing
Marta.
in court.
I know. This isn't her MO. She's apparently she's settles. She's kind of
She
at the end which is an easy gig, right? You say, yeah, I'll settle. You're
she's
not really
garbage
fighting it
like
out
her
in court.
client.
Okay. I'm gonna reserve. I would have to know her to say that. I think
I know
I
enough.
personally think she's doing her job.
Nope.
Everybody that represented the succubus, we would hate. There's nobody that we would ever like. We hate all our witnesses. We hate all our lawyers. We hate all our friends. We hate her family. So
No,
what's she gonna do?
if she was doing her job, she would release the standard statement after a loss. You know, we fought hard for this victory, for this case. We will now appeal. That's her job. She doesn't need to go through spewing this garbage, misrepresenting the UK trial, and talking about this fake evidence they don't have. And she's throwing Karate under the bus too.
Yeah, that's a good
Oh my
point.
god,
I
piece
think
of
As Karate
shit.
will remember that. I think As Karate an ex-Marine will remember that. She couldn't
Hmm.
be a better judge.
They have a hearing June 24th in front of this judge.
Marta says, "Am I crazy? I just love him the way he is. Belly, crazy hair. No, that's what a real fan does, Marta. You are a ride or die bitch, as Crazy Robin would say. Ride or die kind of bitch, right? You have to say, as what's her name from the real world? Tammy Roman,
Yeah.
Kenny Anderson's ex-wife, and that's a happy. Okay, so this is Elaine Bredehoft on the CBS morning show with Oprah's scissor and gal pal, Gayle
Hmm.
King.
Friend of Harvey Weinstein. So she
Gail
really
is?
has, yeah. So she
Oh, I didn't
really
know that.
has, yes. So she really has room to, talk down on anybody.
Lori Cindy Lou Who. Welcome, Cindy. I think you snuck in there. Welcome, Cindy Lou Who. Always love to have you.
but ice, and that truth never perishes. Elaine Bredehoft is the attorney for Amber Heard and is with us now. And we should mention, we did also reach out to Johnny Depp's team, but they declined to be interviewed this morning. Elaine, thank you. We're so very glad you're here.
Thank you.
We heard Amber's reaction to the verdict yesterday. This seems to be a huge victory for Johnny Depp this morning.
Sarah, don't
What?
don't be afraid to stop me if you
Well, we
if you get a
have to,
moment.
so we don't get
No,
it.
well, if you get an urge to rant, don't worry about it. I don't give a shit.
I'm
Not.
looking at these massive arms on Gayle, and I'm saying don't wear that dress again, Gayle.
I think it was Hooper or someone, and they said Depp looks like a 5'4" landscaper next to.
Wouldn't Gayle be more like toned from holding Oprah's legs apart?
Gail's a good-looking woman. Don't you think Gail's a good-looking woman? She's
I
got to
don't
be
like
pushing
her.
70 herself. You don't
I
like
don't
Gail?
like her tone in this. I didn't care about her before. I don't like Gayle King now.
Gail lives in Robin's building, or used to live in Robin's building, I believe, on
Good for
Riverside
her.
Drive. Jesus
They,
Christ, you!
they can
Oh, it
scissor
was.
together.
It was super. Oprah has a little Oprah's a little Scientology in her too, right? Is she part of the Travolta cult. I cannot figure out where she stands with Scientology cult because she's all those people,
I
Cruz
hope
and
she joins
Travolta.
so she loses all her money.
Oprah's just like Tina Turner, except she can't sing, she can't dance, and she's fat.
Yeah, a major setback for women inside the courtroom and outside the courtroom.
Because
Basically what this said, Amber had an enormous amount of evidence, although a lot of it was suppressed in this case as opposed to the UK. But look at all the women who have no evidence. All these women who suffer from domestic violence, domestic abuse, they don't have evidence. And basically what this jury said is unless you pull out your cell phone and you tape record your spouse beating you, you're out of luck.
But Elaine, I think it was bigger than that because you had the evidence, as you say.
Whoa, tight ship,
Well,
Sarah.
I'm yelling at you. But,
No, you know how it goes. You're trying to hear
you
you
have to film your partner beating you. She filmed everything else, but she didn't have she should have had a video of him beating her.
What do we do in this day and age without technology? What does Depp do if he can't record this stuff? If they don't have the iPhones going when they record themselves, if they don't have the camera footage, if they don't have how does this, I said this a million times on here. If this is 1994, he is screwed. I mean, he is canceled from everything.
Yeah. Well, and she took photos of everything else, but she never quite turned the photo into the mirror in Australia to catch her reflection. So I know this case almost inside and out. I know everything she had. She had nothing. She presented what she had, other than those doctored photos that the judge wouldn't rightfully so allow into the evidence. That's all she missed. Depp couldn't submit that Australia audio that would have ended that drama in 5 minutes. It tells you who's responsible for that finger being cut off because she admits it. But because Jerry Judge is dead, they couldn't submit that as evidence. So she can.
Everybody, that's another thing we've talked about it, but everybody, that's the key cog in everything, is either dead or unavailable. So it's Jerry Judge, it's her mom, it's everyone's, or they can't come to. But I said this before when you weren't on, like, he took the child to Virginia, so she was forced to play a road game.
Well, that and also the defamation laws are more kinder in Virginia.
Yes, anti-slap. Arnold Strong numero uno is great. Amber's Twitter message got 200,000 likes. Depp's Instagram message got 18 million likes.
And he gained another 6 million followers on Instagram.
He should be. I mean, doesn't The Rock have like 300 million?
I don't get that appeal.
It's a crazy thing, this social media. If Depp posted more, I think he probably approached that. But he posts like once every 5 months or something.
And I watched, not to derail, we'll get back to this in a second. I watched wrestling during The Rock's heyday. He was my least favorite.
Well, his dad's my favorite all-time wrestler.
Yeah.
Rocky Johnson.
I understand that more than I understand the love for The Rock.
His dad was incredible. His dad was, I don't know if anybody remember. I was a little kid. I mean, I'm like, I remember seeing him and he was doing drop kicks like at your forehead. He was, I don't know what kind of vertical leap he had, like superhero moves, like full-blown sunset flips and leg sweeps and backslides, and he would just get fully in. This is like before, and wrestlers are crazy now. They do way stuff that's way athletic. But back then it was like you were watching a real life comic book, the way he was moving. And I just loved him. I just loved how smooth he was, and then it's crazy to think his son is the biggest wrestler of all time, because Rocky was marginalized by Vince McMahon. I mean, they wrote him out. When Hogan came, that's one of the reasons I hate Hogan, is that Rocky Johnson has all the moves Hogan doesn't have, and they just phased him out.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about wrestling, but I enjoyed Stone Cold more. I thought he was funnier. I like Triple H. That was my favorite. But anyway, let's move on. Go back to this. Nobody wants to hear me talk about wrestling.
I think with Amber, she got mental issues, which is sad. I think deep that, yeah, she sucks all your sympathy, Cindy. And nobody is more of a mental health advocate than I am, and I can't even get down with whatever that is. I think she's just a spoiled brat who's been indulged and enabled, and that's really her. It's just, it's not even anything you can relate to, her mental illness. Who can relate to that? It's a hot chick who's known the power of the feminine pussy fog wilds since she was in middle school, and that's what she's using. Here's Gayle.
But they did not believe her. Why do you think they did not believe her?
I think that a lot of that was that it was Johnny Depp. I think the celebrity status.
But she's a celebrity too.
And it's not only not
but she's
her.
but she's a celebrity too.
Right. She's going to make $100 million.
But you have to remember, it's a tale of two trials. All the evidence came in the UK. Mr. Depp brought that one. The burden of proof was on the son in the UK because they had called him a wife beater and talked about the domestic violence. He had his opportunity to tell the truth then. And a 3-week trial, he lost. The judge found 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence. And that came out November 2, 2020. We weren't allowed to tell the jury that.
Well, it's a different system, and the judge, it wasn't a jury, it was a judge. The judge said it was substantially true, and that is significant, and I think surprised a lot of legal analysts. But, in this case, the jury not only didn't...
You say pause, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay.
She's misrepresenting the entire trial. First of all, most people know this now. The judge was tied to the Sun, to Rupert Murdoch. His son worked for the Sun or for Rupert Murdoch in some capacity. Amber Heard had dinner during the trial with an acquaintance of the judge's wife.
There's a picture online that surfaced to her with Dan Wooten with their arms around each other. I don't know if you saw. This is like yesterday I saw. By the way, Sunflower Dragon, thank you. Apparently Depp's DMs are open on Instagram, and she gave us a plug on there, which is crazy. Thank you, Sunflower. That's so nice of you to even think about that.
I can't imagine. I would
Marta,
love him
you should get Penthouse 5. You or Sarah should get Penthouse 5. It should go.
I will fight Marta for Penthouse 5. I can't fight, so she'll probably win.
Can't you sublet it and have joint custody?
No, she can have the guard shack. That's attached to it. Just don't make noise.
Lining up outside of the guard shack.
No, I was gonna say, Whitney Heard. It's just a whole different experience. It wasn't Heard versus Depp. It was Depp versus the Sun.
Yep.
And all the Sun had to prove was they had a source, which they did. And let me say this: I've said it before. Whitney Heard, while she's on the stand, is texting her sister. So the Sherborne had to stop the proceeding to ask the judge to make her stop texting her sister. I'm done.
Linda writes, Johnny Depp is one of the most beloved actors in some of our most beloved films. God almighty, does he have any charisma? Linda, rock stars wish they had Depp's charisma. He's beyond what rock and roll is. Like, that's why I think it's almost beneath what he does as an actor. There's only one Johnny Depp. The world has enough guitarists, right, David? I mean, you're in that LA music scene. You're probably everyone has got a screenplay under their arm, and everyone plays guitar. But there's only one David virtuoso, and there's only one Johnny Depp chameleon super actor. And that's why we don't care about his guitar. And I just never will. You'll never. I used to hang out with a whole community of musicians. They were all brilliant. They could play everything and anything. And I just realized those guys should all be big rock stars. And it's not about the sound you're making. It's not about the music. It's about some weird gimmick that you hit at the right time when the music industry was hit. I want to see Jeff's brief bona fide movie stuff. By the way, Judy Tenuta, you say Stone here and Sara, and I read that wrong, but I want to give a shout out to Sharon Stone, who supported Depp when nobody else would. I forgot about that. Remember that, Sara? I told you that.
If Sharon Stone supports Depp in the Woods, did she really follow him? I don't know.
She's a major. No, she's a nice career, Sharon Stone. She's a Ray Liotta kind of career.
Yeah,
I think she was Billy Paul. She was supporting him when nobody else would. This is 2-3 years ago when he was on the balls of his ass.
I'll give her Casino, and that's about it.
Believe Amber Heard, but in ruling that she acted with actual malice, I mean, she had the intent to cause harm, right? That's a pretty high standard to have proven.
And it's pretty amazing since the op-ed never even mentioned Mr. Depp.
Okay,
you have to remember that. What they learned from the UK case.
She testified. She wrote it, you old hag.
John Riley agreed.
Tiger Lily says, Elaine, never blunt bangs. Never. Agreed.
She's gonna be 70. What do you want her to do?
I need her to go away.
Sofia Vergara hair. What is she gonna do? This is her job. You're gonna hate anybody that represents. I mean, is nobody that could represent her you'd like. And I'm not saying I'm a fan I'm not saying that. I'm just saying she's just in a terrible position.
If you had such a great case, why'd you lose? Blame yourself. You suck.
Yes. takes
Also,
Nate Burleson is about to fly that flag for you, Sarah. And I love the
I
way he
know,
frames it.
and he's a
It's
Browns fan, so we are united.
okay.
But she is also responsible for getting this evidence in that she says wasn't in. She sucks.
John O'Reilly agrees with you. I agree, Sarah. Second 911 call. The statement said Amber
Yeah.
internationally made up ECB episode is evidenced by 2 911
Yep.
calls that libel committed. Yeah,
There
and
you
it's
go.
amazing that they even got the Adam Waldman thing. They shouldn't have even gotten that because they know it's true. They know it's. They just believed the fucking IO Tillet certainly specificity.
How
Just true.
fast do you think Depp cut that check for $2 million? I think it's already done, and she's
Yeah.
deposited it.
Well, I agree with whoever it was. I think it was God, I forget. I'm sorry. It was Cindy Lou who had said it could have been Crazy Robin that Waldman should be paying it. He was a loose cannon during that whole thing. Depp did not make him do that.
I agree, but I think Depp knew. I don't
Yeah,
blame either one. She had people spewing shit. Why can't he have,
you're right.
somebody fight back?
Sarah, Kylo Sierra's. I love it when Sarah swears. I think she's not alone in that. A lot of people do.
Affy
When you
doesn't
get
like when I swear. I don't think. See, Affy says I'm low class. I agree. I have no class. I have no argument for that. Proud to have no class.
here we go. Yeah, I think Nate's coming.
All right.
Is to demonize Amber, which is what they did, and to try to suppress as much of the evidence that came in the UK and did not come in the United States. But the other problem is we had cameras in the courtroom.
Good.
So here we had, not only did we have a group of Depp fans that were there every day, 100 were allowed in. They lined up at 1 o'clock in the morning for their wristbands to be in that courtroom. But we had everything on camera, and we had tremendous social media that was very, very, very much against Amber.
It was pointed out that that was the first time that a victim of sexual abuse had to testify on live television.
And I fought hard and lost that battle. It should not have happened.
So
Here comes Nate. Ready?
Yeah.
I love how you think you're gonna like roll your eyes the way he frames it because he goes, "Well, I'm an ex-NFL player." Like he says it every time, but this is pertinent here.
I am a former NFL player, and after a hard loss, it's easy to wake up and point to the other side. Oftentimes, I realized the better thing to do was to look in the mirror. What mistakes did I make as a player? What mistakes did our coaching staff make? And then how can we improve from there? Do you feel like you guys made any mistakes along the way? Do you feel like Amber made a mistake while she was on the stand? Because you're saying it's the celebrity, it's Johnny, it's the people who support him. But what about you and your team?
Yep.
Well, and that's an excellent question.
It doesn't compute.
And Amber even said on the...
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
It doesn't compute. Turn it down just a little bit. It doesn't compute for her. She is now a warrior for Heard. I think she's afraid she's going to get a beating. And I don't know how you blame anyone else but yourself for that loss.
She's not. She's almost indirectly not. She's trying to look like she has humility, but not blaming herself at the same time. She's saying I second guess myself all the time, but she's not essentially admitting she did anything wrong. She in her heart thinks they did the right thing, and
no, they didn't. I think
it's
all she had to do was watch her opening. What a hot shit pile that was.
But
and then adjust.
Here's where I would be like, and I can't. I wouldn't have the balls to do this, and I would be so classless if I did, and I know Burleson wouldn't do it either. It was like, what I want to say to her is, I hate to break it to you, Elaine, it's charisma. They don't like you. You just don't resonate with the jury. People just don't like you in Rottenborn. They don't trust you. They don't trust your delivery. They don't trust your presentation. They don't trust her. I'm sorry. You probably had a great career, but you're just not likable. You can't say that. You can't say it to her, but that's like,
Well, she makes 2 points here I want to address. She says she's demonized. She's a demon. I know this case. She is a stone cold liar. She is vicious. She has mental problems that she's never going to address. She has a child now. I don't care if she, rolls into a ditch and dies.
Whoa!
But she has a child who didn't ask for any of this. She's never going to fix herself. The other thing I want to talk about before we get back to this, she talks about social media. If she wants to rail against social media, that week off they had, Amber Heard got called out on all of her inconsistencies during that week. The first hour of her testimony back when they were back, she spent fixing all of her little errors because she had been on social media that entire week. So and that's the one thing I will say about social media. Nobody should have said anything. Unfortunately, you can't control them.
Well, the worst thing is what Judy Tanoon is saying here. They all,
yeah.
The worst they get to say that he lost in some capacity. It's just such a fucking pittance. It's such, I can't stand that little asterisk you have to use in this, that she gets to claim some weird victory, and they're gonna get so pompous off that stupid Adam Waldman chapter.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to this schlock.
And I am not perfect. I am a human being.
No.
These people were giving her death threats. They threatened to microwave her baby.
Lie.
This is the kind of social media she was getting. So are any of us perfect? No. Is there something else we feel we should have done? Yes, I absolutely. I redo my closings 100 times afterwards, whether I win or lose. That's part of being a good lawyer, good trial lawyer, is there's always something. But I think that there were a lot of influences here that were beyond our control. And I think the social media, it was like a Roman Colosseum. It is the best way to describe the atmosphere here. And I have to believe that the jury, even though they're told not to go and look at anything, they have weekends, they have families, they have
they were not sequestered. They were not sequestered.
And the 10-day period we had, how could they not have been influenced?
But Elaine, for most...
Oh, God. Like your client...
We get a little pushback. Everyone thinks Jeff Beck has got.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I shouldn't even.
I shouldn't say I'm an aficionado on it either. But if you think his international fame is anywhere near Depp's, you're crazy.
I don't know anything about Jeff Beck.
We know when I watch the Hollywood Vampires, the whole fucking audience is. You got Joe Perry, for Christ's sake, and Alice Cooper, and 80% of the people there to see Depp, and you'll never convince me otherwise.
Well, I couldn't pick Jeff Beck out of a lineup. I couldn't name one song.
He looks like every guy, with the jet black hair, and it's thousands and thousands of hair plugs.
Yeah,
and he's skinny.
He could have been blonde.
He's like a cross between Keith Richards and Ron Wood.
This guy, a stranger, could have walked in the door and said he was Jeff Beck right now.
I don't even know.
Believed him.
He played with the Yardbirds, and I don't even know. Like, it's not something. You have to be that generation before you to really, or have like an older brother or sister or a parent that I don't know how you would know. I don't know where you'd hear it. I don't know how you'd get introduced to it, especially these days.
Mm.
But you know how he wants to attach himself to all things dinosaur rock and British, and that's a common thing with him.
Well,
to know him.
This is what I predict for him. I think if it's serious with his British girlfriend, which she's been with a couple years, he might be moving to the UK. So,
everyone,
doesn't he still have a house?
She's royalty, right?
I don't know.
She has some. No, she. If you look, we're gonna have to circle back to her on our next show, and she has some weird lineage with roy. Remember, we read. This is like a few months ago. We profiled her, and what's her full name again, Sarah?
I might have closed out of it. Hold on.
Andrew Morgan's parents are both Kentucky colonels.
Sophie Herman with two
Sophie
N's.
Herman, right, two N's.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got some weird, I'm telling you, some privileged kind of lineage from royalty. It's just like stuff like modeling contracts at 16 and a life you can't relate to. Perfect for Depp.
It is crazy in this picture. I'm looking at how much she looks like Dr. Curry.
Sophie Herman?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what I remember. Yes, I remember the picture I saw. She did as well, and we didn't know who Dr. Curry was at the time to compare.
Mm-hmm.
Maker's Mark bottle is kind of penis shaped, says Sunflower Dragon.
Well, that was the other end that she said was used on her, the base.
Caitlin Hadley. Okay, I'll.
People watching this trial, a lot of people, as you know, got huge views. It just seemed to be so messy and salacious and so tawdry on both sides. on both sides.
No.
And I think for a lot of people from the outside looking in thought both of them were not telling the truth and that they mutually abused each other.
Nope.
Do you not believe that that was the case?
No, and that's one of the many misnomers. The way that Depp's team approached this was based on ignorance of domestic violence. It completely ignored the cycle of violence and just said, oh, she wouldn't have done this if he had been hitting her. That was their approach.
Bonnie, I got some audio for you to listen to. I don't think she ever took the time.
No.
That tells me what
she's
I
running
need
the
to
show
know.
on this too. I mean, Amber's running the show on this. She's directing how this goes. There's no question. She's orchestrating everything you see and every move they make. They have no autonomy.
In my opinion here, and I am borrowing from somebody I heard it from, another, analyst on this, there is abuse and there is reactive abuse. If he headbutted her while restraining her, that's their biggest claim, is he headbutted her. And he explained it, believably. I believe what he said. Her head bumped his forehead. There's
That
also
word abuse, though, Sarah, is something
there's
that
also, if she's, beating on him and he pushes her down, I still blame her.
you can't. But I mean, that word abuse is so arbitrary, and it's in the eye of the beholder. And should she be able to say it? Some of the stuff people heard on audio from him, and some of the text and some of the emails, anybody would call abuse.
The texts weren't to her. And I've
But
said this before. I don't consider myself abusive. I would have said much worse, probably to her, if she had drugged me through this shit.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the jury thought of that. Like, well, you triggered this. He's hitting back, and you're ruining. And now this is his response, and he's texting and emailing Paul Bettany, and this is we all. If you cracked open any of our phones and email boxes, we'd have the most embarrassing fucking things that we would never want spilled out. We all have it, and I think the jury saw that. If they related to one thing, it's like, could you imagine if you went through my cell phone right now?
And I want to know from her, what's the example of Depp's team getting down and dirty? When they talked about her shitting in the bed, she did that. That's the evidence. That shows her state of mind.
Again, I got to say, he has so many friends in the industry. He's so many people on movie sets. He's so many people he's treated everybody so, like I said, from the key grip to the executive producer of every film, everybody gets treated the same, as you saw with the stenographer. And there are people who just want to root for him and have his back. As likable as he is, he walks the walk. And all these people on all these different productions are reporting to him and giving him that intel. I mean, it is, the streets are watching. And I think, that's what good karma is, I guess.
Yeah. I'm proud. I'm actually proud of this fairly young jury that I was afraid would be maybe too woke now to actually look at this, from both sides and apply a little bit of common sense to this. I'm proud that they did a very good job. I'm shocked.
Marta says Amber's not stupid. She's definitely smart, but she's way too control. It's both, Marta. I don't think she's. God damn it. Can you have no self-awareness and be stupid? Or the definition of insanity, obviously, as they say, or ad nauseum, is repeating the same dumb mistake over and over again and expecting different results. So can you be stupid and smart at the same time? She kind of is that. She was certainly smart enough to con him, right? I mean, he fell for it. She studied his ticks. This is what Donnie Brasco. She basically out Donnie Brasco in a pussy fog kind of way. So she's smart and stupid at the same time. I think stupid is not knowing the repercussions and kind of overrating your own ability to do it, and just having no self-awareness about little unliked you are. Read the room. She can't do that.
Yeah. Well, she knew what she was doing in the very beginning, because you talked to, his friend's testimony and his bodyguard's testimony. She was the greatest thing ever in the beginning. And then she got, her footing, and
whatchamacallit? Did you see Dolph Lundgren said that. Well, he kind of complimented her more. She said that she was wonderful on the set of Aquaman.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know. He has no motivation to do that. She's not coming back.
There's a video of her now that you mentioned Aquaman. There's a video of her training with a trainer, of course, on set. And they're doing like the stick battle. I don't know what you call it, but some battle. She hits his hand and almost breaks
Bang
his,
sticks?
yeah,
She using
maybe.
bang?
She
Okay.
almost breaks his hand with a stick, and he has to leave and go have his hand looked at. And she's cheering. She gets off on
Crybaby
just
action.
violence, and especially toward men. She loves it.
I hate men. I hate she does well, she's a classic fucking, daddy's girl emasculator. But Depp can obviously kick the shit out of her. He said, "You do this." Women can wail on me all they want. I'm not really bothered by it. I would never call it abuse.
Well, you should.
If there's any, you can punch me all you want. I'll sit there and I'll shrug it off, and I like it. I don't. I'm not affected whatsoever. I'm not affected. I mean, it's just not gonna hurt me.
You like it?
But no, it's just so stupid. It's like I don't take it seriously because you're just not gonna hurt me. And unless it weren't, you get me in the contact lens. And that's kind of what he's doing. That's what guys do. We let you wail on us because there's no winning. If we kick your ass, we're ridiculous monsters.
Well,
And if you kick
I
our ass, we're
agree.
pussies. You can't do it. You can't, there's no good way to come out of it.
I would never hit you because I would expect you to hit me back, and I can't take a hit. So I'm not even gonna near that zone.
The only way I could, if I'm wearing, my problem is contact. I could never be a boxer or a UFC fighter because I'm wearing contact lenses. I can't do. There's just no one thing. And I'm basketball. I've stopped basketball games and looked for my contact lens at center court and put it in during a game.
Ugh.
Found it, scooped it off the floor, had
Somehow,
no
Jesus
choice,
Christ.
and put it back in my eye,
Yeah.
dust and all.
Oh God. My poor darling.
A couple times. I can't see. I'm that blind.
I know.
I have no choice.
All right, let's get back to the Bond. Big Bond.
You thought that they weren't fighting fair?
Correct. I don't think they were fighting fair.
And you think Amber Heard is, in fact, a survivor of domestic violence?
Yes, I absolutely believe that. And there's a tremendous amount of evidence, much of which did not come into this trial, did come into the UK trial. We even had more evidence. We had medical records. We had mental health records that went back to 2012 that were contemporaneous.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, the judge allowed her to admit hearsay as evidence. Like, oh, this guy told me this. Oh, okay.
Crazy Robert just called me senile and adorbs at the same time. But when you call someone adorbs,
You can be both.
It almost means like I'm so behind on the chat. I'm getting too carried away with every. That's my biggest. If I'm not good at doing, like if I have I kind of get too.
You're gonna your next episode. You just need to dedicate to chat only.
Well, I am doing it, I guess, because sometimes you just get carried away with. Look, yeah, I'm not. I'm proud of. I want to give everybody individual attention. I just can't. I hate glossing over stuff because I know what it's like to be in that comment section. I know what it's like to write something. Oh my God, it's gonna get. I know it's gonna resonate.
They just skip it.
Yeah, they skip it. There's nothing worse than that. This is the worst feeling in the world. You put your heart and soul into writing something.
To go to a super chat. I know that's disgusting.
It's crazy. Jessica Alba can ever Amber to be the ambassador for the honor of. She steals the what's it called again? Honest. She steals she does her own like knockoff. That's Honest, so funny, Crazy Robin. She got her money in Musk's cooch. I love a good cooch. I think Ann wants to play Jennifer's family and Depp kids. Broke rich people. Is it the ACLU, Sarah? What do you got about that, right? The ACLU is going to be held over. That they're going to be.
They're going.
Some
after
people
Depp.
say they lost most of all.
Well, they did, but they're going after Depp for like 85 grand for their expenses on gathering all the documents for his case. They're just such garbage now. They used to be, a great organization. Now it's been flushed down the toilet.
Yeah, they tainted. I feel sorry for them in a way. They got excited having a celebrity back them. Depp was on the balls of his ass. It seemed safe when Aquaman hit. She's taking credit for box office. She has nothing to do with it. And nobody loves this more than the Aquaman people because these sequels are going to go crazy. The curiosity people are going to have about how they're going to replace her, I'm telling you, it's going to augment the box office by 50%.
Yeah. All right, let's finish Bonnie and you can get back to the chat.
had text messages from Mr. Depp's assistant saying, when I told him that he had kicked you, he cried.
So how is she today, Elaine? How is she today? What is her next move?
She's well, her next move is appeal. There were
she's heartbroken.
She is heartbroken. And one of the first things that she said when she came back from the verdict, when we went into the conference room, was, I am so sorry to all these women.
She said that?
Yes, she felt like she had let down all of these women because she had more evidence than most people do, and yet they still didn't believe her.
Elaine Bredehoft, thank you so much for joining.
They have to say
She
her
did have a lot of
middle name.
evidence. All these stories in her head were her evidence.
And now you're a huge fan of Nate Burleson now, right? He's a Browns
I've
fan.
always liked Nate Burleson.
Is he from Cleveland?
No,
from
I
Ohio?
don't think he's from Cleveland, but he was a Lion, of course.
And a Viking.
Oh, was he
Something
a Viking?
else
Okay.
too. Yeah. He was big in the 2000s.
But he is on NFL, Good Morning NFL.
Yes, right. I'd say he's in the NFL.
Not anymore. He left to do
Not
this
anymore.
garbage.
I know.
No, but he was always very pro Cleveland.
Crazy Robin says something great here. She says, Gayle always feels like she's always protected in the Oprah fog and shield. Right? Doesn't it seem like she always has that hovering over her? Like
I don't even know why Gayle is in my life. What the fuck has Gayle done other than interview R. Kelly? And
she's okay. She's as good as anybody doing that morning show stuff. I like Gayle.
Nope, go away. I had to sit my jury duty. She was on the television almost the entire day.
Celino and Barnes off you. I'm sorry, sir.
No, I'm done. It wasn't important.
No, go ahead. I want to hear your Gayle. Can I tell you my favorite Gayle King story real briefly?
No, I've had enough of her in my life. Do you have the Today Show also?
I don't. I'll get it next time. I'll get it. I just wanted to. It's the same exact interview. There's nothing. This is the only reason I didn't get it. It's the exact same length. It's the same talking points. It's it's right as she was coached doing this. I can't wait to see where she's going if she's doing the tour.
She's interviewed by Savannah. I have no lips because I lost them in Matt Lauer's zipper, Guthrie, and Savannah Guthrie, who has never watched a minute of this trial, is interviewing Elaine. Is just taking her word for everything.
Is Elaine going to play Zim Zam on Jimmy Kimmel tonight? On Jimmy Fallon tonight?
Oh God.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Elaine Bredehoft, you're amazing. You're unbelievable. You're like my favorite lawyer. Oh my God! Oh my God! You're amazing.
He'll probably cry because he's a big fucking pussy. And what's the other gay guy? The alcoholic.
Alcoholic.
Fallon.
That's what I said. Fallon.
Oh, I'm talking Kimmel. Sorry.
Fallon's in New York, and that's where Elaine is.
Yeah,
Kimmel's in LA.
Big homos. Sorry.
I used to love Kimmel.
I love gay people. Sorry.
She speed talks exactly on the Today Show. It's yeah, thank you, Linda. It's the same deal. Okay, I have another video, Sarah. I have another video.
Is this a surprise?
Kinda. I mean,
oh, God.
It's not. No. It's not like a joke. I mean, I got some stuff from Court TV. Maybe you could see. So this is the Adam Waldman thing everyone's talking about. Okay. So Court TV kind of. Well, this is from the trial. This is them kind of breaking. This is what everyone's talking. This is what Depp lost apparently.
All right, bow to a hero. This is.
There are two police officers, one domestic violence trained female police officer, who've testified over and over and over that there was no damage to the penthouse, which Ms. Heard claimed was destroyed. That's a direct quote, destroyed.
Great show, Brendan.
There are, what I can think of, 9 other witnesses, the majority of whom are either neutral or actually, Ms. Heard's own witnesses, who have testified in various forums, various times, that there were no injuries to her face whatsoever between the 21st and the 27th, when suddenly there were bruises.
That's Adam Waldman, Johnny Depp's lawyer. It was his statements that Amber Heard said were defamatory against her. There were 3 statements in the lawsuit. 1 of 3 was found to be defamatory, but Amber Heard was only awarded $2 million, only $2 million in damages. So that would end up being sort of subtracted from Johnny's award against her. So the jury did not believe Adam Waldman's account of the 21st, the whole incident of it being a setup, a hoax, that they went and they spilled wine and all of that. So they found that Amber Heard was defamed and that she was telling, or Adam Waldman was not telling the truth about her as an agent of Johnny Depp. Now,
so what do you think about that, Sarah? That's what she won. That's the statement that somehow the jury didn't buy, and between specificity, Josh Drew and Whitney Heard and Io Tillett-Wright, that got her $2 million, and that's what tainted the entire victory. That little thing, and I didn't even see. Did you even see it at the time? Did that resonate with you at all?
What resonates? Sorry.
Adam Waldman.
No. I know his statement that he made that she was saying was defamatory. I don't agree. I know.
No, that's what I'm saying. Did it resonate with you at the time that had any impact that could sway a vote in her favor for $2 million?
Because I know that it's true and everything he said was true. But if you break it down, yeah, they didn't show the they didn't play the second 911 call.
Right.
I don't know why.
Ms. Vasquez.
You can't prove, and like you said earlier, I heard you say it. Josh Drew was somewhat credible.
Oh, he was. He was the best witness she had.
If we never saw that police body cam footage, I would have believed him. There was no real evidence saying this was a hoax.
Yeah.
That's all that statement is about.
I can't wait to go over back the past witnesses, and his in particular is I really want to go through. I think that he had a lot of stuff. He had a lot of dirt I hadn't heard. And I do believe some of it. And he's super articulate, and he was quick, and he didn't look unsure of himself, and he says specificity like 60 times. I can't listen to that word anymore. But I do. That's one of the main ones I want to go back. I love it. What's the name of his catering company again?
Do you remember?
No, I love the attention these people are going to get after the trial.
It's not even a catering company. It's more of a hospitality consultant business.
David, that's the way I feel about Elaine. She's kind of dopey. It's not even her age. She's sort of dopey Midwest mom who's way in over. That's exactly how I feel. I don't hate her. That's who you want. If you're rooting for Depp, that's who you want representing the succubus. That's what you want.
I'm going to skip to Marta's latest comment here, the one that just came up.
Okay.
Amber did pay him. Suddenly he came into enough money for a restaurant. He also makes a comment in his deposition that Amber was paying his legal bills. So yeah, she gave him money. Yeah. I mean, Elon gave him money.
And he's got so many ways to hide tax shelter. He's Teflon. You don't think he's got every trick in the book how to not know. I used to think that the San Antonio Spurs, and I used to say this about Cuban and with Nowitzki and the Spurs were paying. I really believe this, that they were paying Nowitzki and Duncan under the table. Like Cuban was literally bringing cash to Nowitzki's house and saying, okay, we'll stay under the salary cap. I'll just pay him in cash. You don't think these guys know how to do that? You really think Dirk Nowitzki's agent's going to let him play for $1 million a year? Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They were, and I know Nowitzki's a good guy, but there's no way. There's no way his agent was going along with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, David, Phil Hartman is, I brought him up a couple, I don't know if you listen, Saturday Night Live, maybe the worst take. And on maybe Howard's is as bad. Howard and Saturday Night Live are the worst takes, and cold Chinese food, just awful. 3 weeks later, bad impressions were god awful. As someone who prides himself on a Depp impression, I just wanted to jump out of my skin watching how lazy it was, how bad everything was. So you'd think Saturday Night Live would be very, very pro Depp, because this Phil Hartman situation could exactly be what that was. And that's Sarah's theory about giving him a knife, is that she really wanted him to kill himself because she'd take the mother load. There's so many similarities to Phil Hartman and Bryn Hartman. That's really, really phenomenal comparison you make, W. We actually did talk about that. Let's see, what else do I have for you video wise, Sarah? How about okay, this is pushback. So let's go on the other side. Let's see how the other half lives. This is a guy who screw you, Sarah. This is Deadline. If we just kissed his ass you know how boring the show would be.
I know
if we just kissed his ass the whole time. let's play. This is a guy from Deadline and these entertainment pieces.
Oh.
Hollywood Reporter. He is staunchly in favor of Amber Heard, and this is how the other half lives.
So I always appreciate your perspective, your insight. I have one big question for you tonight. Did Johnny Depp get his career back today?
No, not at all.
Why
I think
not?
that Johnny Depp, because I think that this was a messy, mixed verdict. And I think that it leaves a lot of unanswered questions. There's obviously going to be an appeal. And I think that you're seeing already some of the reaction we're seeing. Amber Heard's PR people chose their words very carefully. We're seeing a reaction here about, in an America that's already stunned from probably seeing Roe versus Wade overturned, this is now being framed as an attack against women, as a justification of attack against women. That, hey, this is about the First Amendment. We have some audio tapes here of what we believe are verbal abuse. There was, at the very least, a headbutt, which he might think was accidental, and she doesn't. But let's say, on a matter of perspective, that's her perspective of violent abuse. That is also domestic abuse. So we're done, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, because the simple matter is, she was telling the truth. But it got so muddled. This was so muddled, my friend, that the verdict is Johnny wins on his case, and she wins on the second count of her case, which kind of contradicts their first one. This jury had questions about the headlines they were supposed to be looking at. They had questions about, they didn't even put in damages. There was so much confusion in what was being brought here that I think when you talk to people, and I've told you this story before, Vinny, and I'm sorry to bore your viewers with it again. I have had people coming to me during this trial saying, oh my God, I've been reading your coverage. Why do you think Amber Heard sued Johnny Depp for domestic abuse? And I've said, she never did. What are you talking about? They thought that's what the trial was about. They thought very little knowledge, and you guys have spoken about it eloquently before here, about the UK trial where Johnny.
Go ahead, Sarah, I'm sorry.
That's their fault.
It is.
Are you blaming him because people are
Deadlines kind of cover their own ass. You know how much they went after him during this whole thing?
Of course.
I got documents from them. We did shows where I got they published the Saljenko stuff, all the feuds he had with his friends in the money, James Russo and Bruce Witkin and Saljenko and his sister. They published all the documentation from that.
Mm-hmm.
They've been up his ass for years. They can't circle back on this. They have to hold their. Thank you, Trinity Jean. They have to hold their ground, and that's who this guy is. The senior editor is the Mike Walker of Deadline, and he has to. I give him credit. He's not.
No, they've got. It's just I discount anybody who says this is an attack on women. Has nothing to do with that.
Let's poll women. Let's have a legitimate poll. I'm not talking about us and our great people. Let's have a huge, massive social media poll. Do you feel threatened by if you're a woman? And let's forget his fangirls. Everybody who followed this trial, and let's see what the numbers come back at. Let's have a legitimate, massive international poll.
Mm-hmm.
Depp was found on at least 12 occasions by that judge. And as you said, different system, neither better, neither worse. But he was found on that.
No.
That was almost negated in this case. Again, the judge said you couldn't talk about it, but they could find ways to talk about it. The lawyering was muddled.
Dominic Patton, senior editor, Deadline Hollywood. Check him out, folks, getting inside information on this story and many, many others.
Okay, is another one. This is a woman. She is a lawyer. She has been pro Amber from the beginning. You're going to hate her, and I want you to hate her. She apparently has a rant on TikTok she brags about during this. I am going to look at that later and see if I can find her for another show. I'm going to show you this woman going nuts on Court TV.
Oh,
yes.
God. Okay.
Her name's Wendy Walsh. I don't know if anyone knows her. Ready?
Great.
To Wendy Walsh, your thoughts tonight, your reaction, your thoughts about Johnny Depp specifically tonight as this jury has found that he was defamed.
Well, I think he's a better actor than Amber Heard. That's what I think. I feel today the exact same feelings I felt at the very end of the O.J. Simpson trial when I was placed at a domestic violence hotline to monitor the calls coming in from terrified women who said, my husband said he's going to O.J. me now. I feel that this is the greatest misunderstanding of the jury who got swept up in fan culture. This is not the Super Bowl, folks. Also, this wasn't a domestic violence trial. This wasn't a divorce trial. This was a defamation trial. And the jury forgot to listen to the instructions from the judge. All you had to prove was that at one.
Linda Aries, I don't feel for 1 second she cares about other women. She's using other women as a conduit and a human shield, just like her baby, to make herself famous. And she needed that. And she got so cocky with the success of Aquaman. And she's so stupid and delusional, Marta, where she's smart, she's also stupid. She took credit for Aquaman. Her narcissism and egomaniacal personality made her think she had something to do with the success of Aquaman. And I don't believe for a second she cares about anybody but herself.
Time. She was a victim of domestic violence. It could have even been emotional abuse. I mean, there's audio of him.
Before we forget, thank you, Cindy Lou. Sophie Herman is a German supermodel turned reality TV show star and heir to the Mustang gene fortune. You talk about how many charmed lives you have in a row. How many things, you know what I mean? You got the genetics, you're from the Mustang gene. I mean, how many could you talk about, like the have and the have not? She's like 5 halves to our have nots. Could you have more of a charmed existence that I don't relate to? Good God. No wonder why Depp's with her.
Saying, or text of him saying, I would beep, beep, beep her dead, burnt corpse to make sure she's dead. That alone is abuse. This woman and he were in a traumatic bond. Their therapist admitted that they abused each other. You only need one incident from his side to prove that she wasn't lying. But yet, everybody got swept up in the fan culture. Apparently, TikTok is weighing in on trials these days. Look, I have 1 million followers on TikTok, and in a minute, I'm going to go live, and I will give people a piece of my mind. This is a downfall.
When I watched that, I laughed just as hard as that. I can't wait to watch this.
They're referring to this audio, you notice, where they...
Go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
They refer to this audio where they talk about this emotional abuse from him. Did they listen to the rest of it?
No, of course
What's the
not.
worst thing he says to her? Watch that wide load.
Watch that wide load, yo.
Anyway, go ahead.
Do you really think, yeah, Marta, Phil Hartman's this thing is eerily similar in a way, and it was his wife, Bryn, was completely jealous of Phil's career, as if she has any. He's like the most talented human being on the face of the earth. You really think you're gonna match it? And he's very charismatic too, like Depp was. Phil Hartman could make a Saturday Night Live sketch. He was so brilliant. He could play like the boss or the father, and it wouldn't even be him. His subtle acting in Saturday Night Live sketches made me laugh sometimes more than the over the top thing. And him and Dana Carvey together is a combination I think that show will never see again. I think that's the best it ever was.
For women in America.
Much more to talk about tonight. Don't go anywhere. Our guests are staying with us. They're Wendy Walsh. You're
Eve Barlow, Sarah. Any comments?
No.
Speak the entire gender thing. Eve Barlow is thinking she's influenced the entire gender. Eve does precisely with a self-appointed Jewish advocacy. Yeah, she's the spokeswoman for Zionism and Jewish women. She's so. I mean, it's so typical. And that's the optics. That's who you hang with, Ben. That's who Amber finds. As hateable as she is, she's everything she tweets. She is that person. Money will get you out of any situation, G. It's terrible. Yeah, most of the time it will, unfortunately. That's true, Balo. You can throw money at and screw you, Sarah Armas in a wave of fog. That's what makes it muddled. Scott is true. Marta, mark my words, the next year Eve Barlow will be brutalized by Amber. Yes, Marta. Mark my words, Eve Barlow will be so brutalized by Amber that she will call the police and will sing like a black canary. Dinah Lance. That's so true, Marta. Couldn't agree more. We'll wait for it. It's coming. I think that's a great prediction. Screw off Dominic, Pat, and Vinny for entertaining this and not pushing back.
They don't know how. They don't know any of the details to push back.
They should have had Dominic Barber. Leave it to David. It's always a Stern reference to counter everything. I'm on fire. Yes or not. Remember Dominic Barber had that show, Power of Attorney? It was like syndicated on like 9 in the morning on like the Fox syndication.
Yeah.
Yet poll. Arm, do you believe all broads? That's going to be the poll, Brian Jano. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. On Twitter, should you believe all broads? Do you believe her? This is only for women to answer. Wow, she's so dumb. You're gonna write a book, Scott Bailey. Sara, you're gonna write a book. You're gonna write a forward for my book.
I'll sign an NDA for your book. Anyway, I'm gonna dive off of this board here.
No. So. You got to make it to 3 hours.
No, come on.
You got to make it to 3. We're almost there.
Let's go. Get
4
through
minutes.
the chat.
Okay, one more. Okay. Women are more likely to be assaulted by Amber and Depp. We'll both sign off together at 3 hours. The women's pissed off at the frazzled Julian. Just saying. David, you're almost too young for the X-Files. You know that, David? And by the way, when we get Stephen Williams on, who played Captain Fuller on 21 Jump Street, he hates David Duchovny. He was on the X. He's one of the guys who started the Fox network. So the X-Files drafted onto Jump Street, and they shot that in Vancouver, I believe, or is it Toronto? I think G Canada will correct me, you Canadians. And he said David Duchovny was such a prick. He forced them to move the show to L.A. He pulled a power move, and it destroyed like tons and tons of jobs on the X-Files set. And that's when Stephen Williams was off the show because he was played Mr. X.
Yeah, a text is not abuse unless it's to the person. I mean, he's texting his friends about her.
You're absolutely right, you two broads. You're absolutely right.
She was never meant to even see those.
Affy is nothing for this old hack.
Me too.
Women vindicated.
She just wants to be on television. She got her wish. Good for her.
It's amazing how Phil Hartman's one of those SNL guys. I agree, Pell. Everything he was in didn't have to be. You just throw it. I heard from Robert Smigel. He said writing for him and Carvey was just you could just throw anything at them and they could turn shit into kryptonite. Vibranium. He didn't say vibranium. Zion
bear with me.
Here?
Pause. Scott Balo. Got to answer Scott Balo. Sarah, do you live anywhere near the Goonies location? I want to go there so bad. That is in Astoria, Oregon, and I am in Salem.
I didn't know that.
I shouldn't say where I'm at, but I am probably an hour to an hour and a half away from that, so I don't go there often. Anyway, that was my answer.
That's an interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I've never seen Goonies.
Neither have I.
I swear to God, I've never actually seen it. There's a few of them, right? Vince Gilligan. I love Vince Gilligan. Kevin Cowie, the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He was the writer on. I forgot about that. That's right. I love that guy. He's a really cool podcast. He Breaking. I remember listening. It's short. It's too short, but he's one of those super cool. I love. He had this great line. He said when you go on a meeting in Hollywood before he got the Breaking Bad, he said it's called a two scotch jerk off meeting, where you go to a hotel and you have 2 scotches with ice and they tell you everything you want to hear. You get all excited, you go home and never hear from him again. I'll never forget that. He called it a 2 scotch jerk off meeting.
Wow.
I gotta watch Breaking Bad season 5 again. Actually, I do want Better Call Saul. I heard it's slow and then it gets really good, and I guess I get too much sprockets. And Rude's Ghost, welcome. That's a late start, but welcome, sir. Hope you come back. We're going to sign off soon. We have T-minus 2 minutes. What's the best movie ever? Roddy Pipe.
It's a weird. People look at me weird even here that I've never watched Goonies. Yes, Roddy Piper lived in Oregon. Yes, he did.
Where's he really from? Is it Oregon's his actual home?
Los Angeles. He had 2 houses, Los Angeles and Portland.
You want to see Chew and Camille?
Is that their press conference?
To go. After this verdict came down, you had Johnny Depp's legal team exit the building behind me. Crowd goes wild. They make a statement. Take a look.
Me too.
Hi, everyone. Today's verdict confirms what we have said from the beginning.
I miss them.
I'm gonna pause it. Let's just look at their face. Am I being forget our biases toward our biases, as lawyers have to say? That's a new word apparently we've learned. Biases. It's not biases. Just look at their faces. Just on up. Forget about Depp. How you just trust them. They have kind eyes. They have the face you want to represent you. Both of them. There's nothing Depp aside. That's what you want in a legal team. And they chose her because she's Amber's generation. And if she doesn't believe your bullshit, no one's gonna, because she's
annihilated her.
Yep.
That's what had to happen. But can you imagine? I had the thought, because I watched this earlier too. I had the thought, can you imagine how sickening it would have been? Rotten Crotch and Bonnie walk out here to do this victory lap to the podium. I would have been sickened.
I know, she's so much AOC. Camille's speech cadence, and it reminds me of AOC. So David, I couldn't agree more. I was saying that from day one.
Ben Chu has never done anything wrong in his life.
You haven't either.
So adorable.
You think he's worthy to lift Thor's hammer?
Yes.
Like
I don't think
father?
he could. I don't think he could. But
you just have to be worthy. It's not about the weight. It's about being worthy.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that you're right. But I can imagine Ben Chu, even if he's worthy, like his little noodle arm snap.
How do you know the triceps of Ben Chu and is hidden under that?
We work out together.
That the claims against Johnny Depp are defamatory and unsupported by any evidence. We are grateful, so grateful to the jury for their careful deliberation.
You see, even the tremble in her voice sounds very authentic. That's not a phony lawyer. Her voice is cracking and she's like on the verge of crying. It's very, very appealing.
They both were. They were both sobbing, at the end of their closing.
Yeah. They unfortunately they don't take questions, which I would love to ask her about Grievous.
Yeah, but listen to the questions that they yell out. That's the reason they didn't take questions.
Camille, oh my God. There was Sara Lingus, and now Brian John, who just coined Camila Lingus.
I would give Camila Lingus to thank her for her job well done.
Okay.
Judge and the court staff who have devoted an enormous amount of time and resources towards this case.
Our judicial system is predicated on each person's right to have his or her case heard, and we were honored, truly honored, to assist Mr. Depp in ensuring that his case was fairly considered throughout the trial. We are also most pleased that the trial has resonated for so many people in the public who value truth and justice. Now that the judge has reached its conclusive verdict, it's time to turn the page and look to the future. Thank you all so much. Thanks to the jury.
Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, you're dealing with a kook, and she will never move on. Scott Balo, no, I don't slam clams, but I would for Camille. Oh, you're gone. Well, Arm is gone. I don't know where are you?
Am I talking?
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Jesus Christ, you scared the shit out of me.
Well, that's your fault. You were gone.
I'm removing. What am I removing here? I'm removing this. Okay. Don't you want to just nuzzle her bosom, Sarah?
The bosom, yes.
Bosom. Well, Estelle Costanza.
Can I?
You want to ask if she's bosomy?
Can I motorboat Dr. Muffins and Camille at the same time?
God, who's asking for that? Is that's on your OnlyFans page?
It's in my head.
Yeah, you thought Brian John was generous for that. Imagine that one, right?
I got to figure out the technique.
David, you called it. The next Radio Gunk show is going to be a Marco Battaglia special. We're going to talk about nothing but him and spotting Howard at the Reebok Sport. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
That would be the funniest fucking thing though, if we attempted to do a Marco Battaglia show. Nothing but Marco Battaglia mentions. That's so funny. If everybody doesn't know who that is, that's Howard's boy toy, Cincinnati Bengals third string tight end that Howard hung out with in the late 90s and early 2000s, that he worked out with, and the Bros and Pat Menachia and Richie Notar in Nobu, and certainly the Reebok Sports Club in the Millennium Towers. So I want to end it here. I want to thank everybody. I feel really good about the show. Sorry, I really do. And I'm so glad you joined. No, you're joining us every time.
I will try. It may not always be the case, but you are.
I am not pompous enough. I'd like to have someone to bounce off at least. It's great to have another voice.
Okay.
It's so.
I'll do what I can.
Just try. Just you
I
don't
will
have
try.
to do it every.
It doesn't even have to be just me. You can invite other people on too.
So this is Arm for Sara saying, no time is a good time for goodbyes. Good night, everyone. I love you. I will see you possibly this weekend. Certainly on Radio Gunk next week. I think it's that shit. Howard's hitting the 5-yard line with the last batch of shit shows.
Why
I won't
don't
listen
you
to.
This Depp show this weekend, if we do one, I haven't had time to prepare anything. Why don't you just post
I'll just get random shit and we'll go.
No, I
over
know
it.
that's what I was gonna say. We'll just do another chat show.
And we'll just like this. It's a great
on Sunday
hang.
probably.
Thank you, everyone. I love you all. I will see you online and soon.